This video continues with Chapter 61, The Progress of Artificial Humans. Dragon Ball, Reforming the Future. Chapter 61, The Progress of Artificial Humans. Chapter 61, The Progress of Artificial Humans. Tang En is still going to let Dr. Gallo take it easy first. Do you mind if we take a walk here? Tang En pulled Bulma and walked around the laboratory. What are you going to do, Doctor? Gallo quickly followed. After all, here were his most important research results, and he would rather die than have others destroy them. Now, it's really all-encompassing. Tang En couldn't help but nodded. I didn't expect Dr. Gallo to update so much content in just a few years. Now, Tang En, who possesses top-level scientific and technological knowledge reserves, is carefully watching Dr. Jiro's current research progress. This was also Tang En's original purpose. The results still surprised done a bit. Artificial man no. 13. Experiment failed. Artificial man no. 14. Experiment failed. Artificial man no. 15. Experiment failed. Has it developed to no. 15, and the data shows that it is very reasonable, but it was not successful. Doesn't the theater version no. 13 to no. 15 exist in this world, or say something about it? This is an important discovery. Tang En couldn't help but ask, have the permanent devices on no. 13 to no. 15 shown above all failed? Welder. Gallo was stunned. This guy, can you actually understand his research? Who is he? So what? I will succeed soon. Doctor. Gallo is extremely proud in this field and does not allow himself to be denied. Tang En turned to look at the thin old man. His eyes were deeply sunken, and he looked extremely old. I don't know what kind of effort he went through. What an amazing study. Tang En sighed as he stared at these data, admiring Dr. Gallo in his heart. Dr. Gallo's words, personality flaws aside, he is truly a genius scientist! With his own efforts, he actually created a work that is comparable to a super saiyan. It is simply an exaggeration! If he is allowed to continue to develop, I am afraid that even Bulma, who built the time machine, will not be able to make concessions. As long as just give me another chance, I will. Dr. Gallo clenched his fists tightly and said blankly but firmly, is it? Yes, I believe it. Tang En nodded subconsciously. He picked up some documents and looked at the body structure of no. 15. It's so complicated. Bulma also tried to look through some documents about androids. Doctor. Gallo paused for a moment. What? Doctor. Gallo had a strange feeling in his heart. Was he trusted by the enemy? It's really funny. Do they understand what artificial humans are? Aren't you guys in the same group as that Sun Wukong? Doctor. Gallo couldn't help asking. Tang En did not respond vocally at this moment, but nodded subconsciously. At this moment, he is already immersed in the process of creating artificial humans. After all, in this regard, he is the only one in the world second to Dr. Gallo himself. Even Bulma admired Dr. Gallo's idea. Dr. Gallo can really only be described as a genius. I didn't expect that the machine could be so powerful, although the research has not yet been successful. Dr. Gallo's theory does have strong feasibility. Absorbent artificial human, and this perpetual motion type. There are actually two different models. Huh? Why don't I see you experimenting with this absorbing work? It obviously looks simpler, Bulma asked confusedly after looking at it for a while. You don't have to worry about me anymore, Doctor. Gallo had no choice but to pray that the guy named Tang En wouldn't mess around. This guy's strength is slightly stronger than the original Sun Wukong. After reading a series of documents, Tang En asked abruptly, how is your research on living artificial humans going? Tang En said, this is a question for Dr. Gallo. How do you know these things? Doctor. Gallo couldn't hold himself any longer and asked in a broken voice. Are you still conducting experiments on living subjects? Bulma was obviously disgusted by this. Snapped exclamation Doctor. Gallo held onto his test bench and said with difficulty, "That's just an idea." My no. 16 is still an artificial human born from scratch, but it will definitely be replaced with a new model in the future. Is it still infinite energy? You are quite persistent. Tang En praised. Doctor. Gallo said nothing, acquiescing. The development of things was far beyond his imagination. How could this man named Tang En know so much about artificial humansa? This guy's research speed is a bit fast. Tang En scratched his hair, and at this moment he was secretly planning, do you want to kill this doctor? Gala, if he were killed, the threat from the androids would certainly cease to exist. But the corresponding No.17 and No.18 will also disappear. Tang En still likes these two characters very much, and both of them have their own charms. After that, he more or less dedicated his own efforts to the protection of the Earth. Forehead after much thought, Tang En finally decided not to kill Dr. Gallo. After all, it would be a pity to kill such a genius. With my own existence, I think many things can be handled more appropriately. It would be a pity not to try. To take a step back, even if Dr. Gallo's research is successful, it will only be possible to create an artificial human comparable to the Super Saiyan level many years later. And that kind of artificial man is not completely evil, and will not even listen to the arrangements of his creator. Besides, Tang En is still very confident in Sun Wukong. What needs to be guarded against is self from the future. Okay. What is your purpose in researching artificial humans? To kill Sun Wukong? Tang En asked. Bulma said in surprise, you want to kill Wukong? HMPH. Why do you ask even though you know everything? Doctor. Gallo has given up asking Tang En why he knows this. Why? Is it just that he destroyed the Red Ribbon Legion? That kind of legion is not worthy of your allegiance, you don't know it, right? It's so funny, the biggest evil organization in the world. The purpose of collecting Dragon Balls is just to make the leader grow a little taller. Well, Doctor. Gallo appeared to be quite uneasy. Just, what do you know? Because of the destruction of the Red Ribbon Legion, my artificial man plan almost came to nothing. This is my lifelong ideal. Amaze that Tang En suddenly realized, no wonder, Doctor. Gallo didn't seem to be seeking revenge. This was just an obsession of his. No matter how harsh the current conditions were and how miserable his situation was, he became even more determined to kill Sun Wukong. Tang En was too lazy to persuade Dr. Gallo. With his help, it was not certain how powerful Sun Wukong would become in a few years. Thinking of this, Tang En asked again, how high is the success rate of your living body experiment among ordinary people? Depending on each person's gap, the success rate is also different. I haven't found anyone who can suit my ideals yet. Doctor. Jiro held back a bit. Then what is the result of failure? Death. Doctor. Gallo replied simply. This Doctor Gallo is really smart, and he recognizes the situation where people are cut off from each other and others are cut off from others. Tang En asked what he said, and did not give Tang En any excuse to turn his face. Tang En was silent for a moment and completely gave up on this path. After all, leaving aside whether Dr. Gallo could be trusted and a result of no retreat, Tang En subconsciously felt that modifying the physique of an artificial human would be self-destructive. Tang En thought about what the Great Elder said to him. Regarding his own situation, Tang En still had many extravagant wishes. Please support everyone end of this chapter. Chapter 62 Changing the Trajectory of Life. Chapter 62 Changing the Trajectory of Life. I can feel that there is another floor in the research room. What is there? Tang En stepped on the ground with his foot and asked Dr. Gallo. No matter what, Tang En must destroy the computer that created Cell in this time and space. After all, this android is the only unavoidable enemy. What's more, Those micro-robots controlled by computers will monitor him and others all the time, which makes him extremely uncomfortable. Doctor. Gallo was stunned for a while, and then said calmly, there are only things that I studied a long time ago. Now I have given up long ago. That kind of thing is completely worthless. Apparently, Doctor. Gallo resisted explaining that stuff in detail. But Tang En knew Dr. Gallo's plan. Then, Tang En glanced at him meaningfully and said softly in an unquestionable tone, "Hey, don't lie so easily. As far as I know, that's your ultimate ideal, right? This you? Doctor." Gallo was really speechless. Research on Sharu has actually started a long time ago, but this project is so huge that it will take so long that even Dr. Gallo will not be able to see it in his lifetime. Therefore, after the research began, Dr. Gallo no longer took care of this research, but the computer continued to collect various data for the birth of Cellule. In the original work itself, Shara is also Dr. Gallo's most outstanding work and even needs no 17 and no 18 as the carrier of evolution. But it is obvious that Dr. Gallo is still worried about this research privately. After all, in his plan, even he himself would be transformed into an artificial human. If successful, he would have a lot of time on his hands. Well, Bulma tilted her head, not understanding what the two people were talking about. Hey, only this artificial human, I will not allow you to continue your research. Then, without giving Dr. Gallo a chance to refute, Tang En grabbed Bulma and teleported to the next floor. What? Disappeared. Doctor. Gallo kept looking around and completely disappeared! This really made Dr. Gallo stunned for a moment. Looking at the quiet laboratory in front of him, he suddenly had the idea that everything just now was an illusion. Suddenly, boom! A loud noise sounded from the ground. Boops! Doctor. Gallo's heart tightened, and then he hurriedly opened the entrance to the next floor and ran in. Suddenly, a huge air wave spurted out from the exit. Doctor. Gallo hurriedly sat on the wall to resist the impact of the smoke and air waves. Cough, cough, what's going on? After the smoke dissipated, Dr. Gallo's eyes came into view. It's all over. Doctor. Gallo fell to his knees, feeling powerless in his heart. Sharu's research was inherently very difficult, and it took so long that it was not even known whether it would succeed during his lifetime. Now he can completely give up, but it's a pity for the computer that controls the microdetector. Hey, Tang En, Doctor. Gallo seems very sad. Bulma nodded to Dun. She still didn't know why Dun wanted to destroy Dr. Gallo's computer. There's nothing we can do. This computer is too evil. Tang En waved his hands and tried his best to defend himself. It sends out so many small machines every day to spy on young girls. It's really unhealthy. Eh? Isn't that just like that bad old man Kame Senin? Bulma said with disgust. Yeah, it's really too bad. What a pervert. Bulma crossed her arms, filled with indignation. At this moment, Bulma looked at Dr. Gallo differently. This old man actually has the energy to make such a machine. Dr. Gallo, hey, do you mind if the two of us stay here for 2 days? A voice rang in Dr. Gallo's ear, which meant that Tang En was right. You? Exclamation. Dr. Jiro was so angry that he almost fainted! But there is no way. After all, life is like that. Since you can't resist and you don't have the determination to die, you have to obey. During these 2 days, Tang En and Bulma carefully read through Dr. Gallo's research results. In exchange, Tang En made a promise to keep Dr. Jiro's location secret. A business without capital. During this period of time, Tang En did not try to resolve the hatred between Dr. Gallo and Sun Wukong. After all, deliberate persuasion is counterproductive to such bigoted people. What's more, it's unclear who Dr. Gallo is the cruelest at this time. Cough, cough, cough. In fact, things were not as bad as Tang En thought. Doctor. Gallo actually soon discovered that these two people unexpectedly got along with him during research. Even though he didn't want to admit it. But after these 2 days of familiarity and communication, the two of them, especially the guy named Tang En, had completely the same understanding of android technology as he did! This gave Dr. Gallo an unprecedented sense of identity. In the past, he would only appear in a few of his works. At this moment, Dr. Gallo's feeling appeared to humans for the first time. This made him feel proud that there is another person in the world whose research on artificial human technology is not inferior to his own. Twain, I came here to show you my presence with your knowledge, and I asked you if you were angry under this situation, Dr. Gallo's hatred towards Tang En for destroying his basement also disappeared a lot, but he didn't even realize it yet. The solitary genius is the most terrible because a person's life will always make himself paranoid and crazy. Although it was only 2 days, Dr. Gallo completely confirmed from Tang En that his idea was correct. Tang En also affirmed Dr. Gallo's artificial human drawings in the past 2 days. He believed that no 16 would be able to complete it. This made Dr. Gallo feel a little happy. In the original work, the reason why no 16 was said to be a failed work by Dr. Gallo was entirely because the prototype of Dr. Gallo's creation of no 16 was his own son. While his son has a cruel and warlike personality, no 16 is kind-hearted, doesn't like fighting, and won't even obey his own orders, so he is called a failure by Dr. Gallo. In addition, no 16 has a powerful strength far exceeding all his works, which made Dr. Gallo dare not release him at all. After all, once no 16 falls into uncontrollable chaos, the entire Earth will be destroyed in an instant. This is the reason why Dr. Gallo wanted to prevent no 17 from opening no 16 no matter what. As the first product of unlimited energy, I believe Dr. Gallo doesn't know what kind of monster he has created with the perpetual energy core. Dr. Gallo is confident that based on current research, he will be able to solve all the obstacles in the envisioned high-power unlimited energy in just 5 years! Several years later, when Dr. Gallo recalled this incident again, he didn't know how he felt. At that time, he was very happy that Tang En had found him, and had many contacts with him again in the days that followed. Otherwise, Dr. Gallo could predict that either his life essence and blood would be easily destroyed by Tang En, Sun Wukong, and others, or that he would be directly killed by the artificial man he made. There were even thoughts that it would be impossible to create such an artificial human simply by relying on one's own strength. But Dr. Jiro doesn't know that now. From today on, his life trajectory will undergo a completely different change for Tang En. The biggest gain from his trip was that he obtained a more complete infinite energy theory and knew most of the materials that support this theory. Well, there's a lot to be done! Tang En thought in his mind. Should he do the same for Capegi in the future? His idea becomes more and more tempting the more I think about it! Tang En even imagined the scene where he gave the order and Capegi beat Frieza until Kurd didn't even recognize him. Hey, Tang En let out a silly laugh. Change the update time. Chapter 2 will be moved to noon. The investment is still a few too, and it is said that there will be a small wave of recommendations. Everyone please help. Thanks for your support. End of this chapter. Chapter 63 Tang En and Amp #039's influence. Chapter 63 Tang En's influence. Time passed slowly, and after Tang En left Dr. Gallo, he began his journey around the world with Bulma. In the blink of an eye, 2 years have passed since the last World No. Martial arts tournament ended. I don't know when, but more figures gradually appeared on the temple. First is Sun Wukong. Next came Tianjin rice and dumplings. Just 3 days ago, Rem, Klin, and Maslow also climbed up to the temple. For a moment, the cold temple suddenly became lively. At that time, Sun Wukong finally completed the practice of breath, and was eager to try the gravity chamber. After being exposed to the practice of breath, Tianjin Fan seemed to have been opened to a new door to martial arts in the days that followed. Tianjin Fan was also frantically absorbing martial arts knowledge about Kai, and made rapid progress under Bobo's training. The other 3 people are still at the primary stage because they came late. The aura intensity of the 3 people changed again. Klin and Maslow advanced hand in hand, and their combat power reached nearly 200 levels, making rapid progress. Rather, it gave full play to the talents of the top Earthlings. Rem is slightly inferior, barely reaching 160. From this point of view, the 3 of them have all reached the limits of the first stage of Earthlings, but due to differences in talent, their respective strengths are also slightly different. Bobo put his hands behind his back and carefully guided the 3 newcomers. Klin and Maslow sat cross-legged, trying their best to feel the breath mentioned by Bobo. Having completed the Kylan Immortal Trial, they actually still have a certain foundation, but it is still far from the level of truly mastering breath. Thinking of this, Bobo looked at the unknown Rem beside him. This person's strength is the weakest, but his control over his own movements is the highest among the 3. The most important thing is that his will is also very stable. In this way, Bobo is the most optimistic about him. Tang En's 2 senior brothers were unexpectedly excellent. One time Rem lowered his head and looked at the palm of his hand, feeling a warm feeling filling it. What everyone didn't know was that Rem had already realized the limitations of his own strength about half a year ago. Regarding the practice of breath, he is more serious and works harder than anyone else. He remembered that Tang En mentioned to them that understanding the cultivation of Kai is the first step to break through oneself. Gravity indoor drink. Push-ups, run, jump, punch. Under 10 times the gravity, Monkey King resisted with difficulty. At this moment, in addition to his own weight, Sun Wukong also needs to bear the overweight martial arts uniform specially customized for him by the gods. 501,502 In Sun Wukong's microscopic world, his cells are sucking in something, constantly strengthening his body step by step. Since Sun Wukong came here, his mind has never left this place, and he doesn't even know that Klin and the others arrived at the temple. There are all the necessities needed for daily life, and there is even a radio for listening to music that breathes loves. Despite this, if it were an ordinary Earthling who stayed here for a long time, he would have been driven crazy by this overweight environment and small space. However, the Saiyans are different. Their home planet has 10 times the gravity, so they are immersed in 10 times the gravity conditions since they were born. Returning to this environment, apart from the initial sense of oppression, it is a completely masochistic enjoyment afterwards, and this feeling will continue until the Saiyans adapt to this gravity. Using the sense of pain to stimulate the wildness of the Saiyans, they will only feel challenged and excited. Coupled with their strong physical fitness and healing ability, and their talent for frequent death, they are a completely unreasonable race. Hey, Tianjin Fan, is Wukong really practicing in that house? Klin asked Tianjin Fan. Tianjin Fan nodded. That's right. By the way, you will be surprised when you see Wukong. Tianjin Fan added inexplicably. Huh? Why? Clint asked curiously. Tianjin Fan smiled. What could he say? Sun Wukong's height almost doubled in half a year, but Tianjin Fan was not concerned about this point. What made him flustered was the speed at which Sun Wukong improved. Since Tianjin Fan is already sensitive to moves, and he also knows skills similar to Wukong Jutsu, he can practice Kai very quickly. Now he has almost understood the basic function of breath. At least it is easy to distinguish the strength of a person. And since Sun Wukong entered this room, Tianjin Fan could feel that Sun Wukong made obvious progress every day, which was the most oppressive situation Tianjin Fan felt. Are you just going to watch Wukong shake him off slightly? Tianjin Fan clenched his fists. very unwilling. He had entered there before, but the effect was not satisfactory. The 24-hour uninterrupted tenfold gravity will make his state of mind impetuous. Although the speed of strength training can be improved, the breath training will slow down. This was not in line with his idea, so Tianjin Fan withdrew halfway. At least, at this time, he still couldn't directly adapt to the same training intensity as Sun Wukong, although the gap between the two was very small. Then, Tianjin Fan also learned from Bobo that this house was specially prepared by Tang En for Sun Wukong. That's it indeed. Wukong's tenacious vitality and recovery ability are extremely suitable for it. Where exactly is my path? Tianjin Fan couldn't help but ask. Looking down from the temple, the vast land arouses deep thought among Tianjin fans. Tianjin Rice Dumpling is the person who understands Tianjin Rice best and knows exactly what he is thinking. Jiaozi, let's get out of here after we have mastered the breath. Tianjin Fan said after careful consideration. Tianjin Fan thought of the conversation with Bobo. Mr. Bobo, I wonder how big the gap is between me and Tang En now. Bobo's deep eyes are like Gujang Wubo. Bobo doesn't know either. But with your current strength there is absolutely no comparison with Tang En. Is that size there already such a big gap? Actually, Bobo doesn't know Tang En's current strength, but he surpassed the gods a long time ago. What? We have long since run out of anything to teach him. Moreover, your practice is about to end. If you don't know the next path, you might as well ask him. You should be able to gain something. Is that so? Okay. Dumpling looked at Tianjin Fan, who had made up his mind and agreed with Tianjin Fan. Good friends forever. In this way, unconsciously, Tang En's influence has gradually penetrated into every corner of the earth. And the original plot has long deviated from what it should have been. Yamcha, who shone brightly in the early stage, disappeared, while Rem and Maslow, who should have been unknown, suddenly emerged and became some of the strongest people on Earth. Correspondingly, the fates of Kellen, Tianjin Fan, Dumpling, and others have also gradually changed, and they are destined to go further and further on the road of martial arts. Compared to ordinary people on Earth, these effects are unconscious. Just like boiling a frog in warm water, whenever one reacted, they were surprised to find that a powerful martial artist could have such terrifying strength. During this period, the battle between Tang En and Big Devil Piccolo spread to almost every city on the earth. Everyone knows the name of Tang En, the god of martial arts. Coupled with the government's call, martial arts is slowly penetrating into all levels of society. The power of admiration will still drive people's bodies. In order to become a person like him, many young people have devoted themselves to the path of spiritual practice. With the government's timely acceptance, once their strength exceeds a certain standard, they will be admitted to the Guardian Alliance, thereby enjoying the unique treatment of martial arts masters. After that, borrow the power of these people to fight against the riots caused by the development of martial arts and try to reduce social instability factors. I have to say that the king did a pretty good job in this regard. The strength of people on Earth continues to improve, but their living standards have not declined, and their scientific and technological strength can still develop steadily. Correspondingly, some people become ambitious as their strength increases, and the resulting chaos becomes a negligible disadvantage. After all, in the eyes of future generations, these are just inevitable side effects of the changes in the current era. In just a few generations, the basic strength of the people on Earth will undergo earth-shaking changes. Only then will the true martial arts civilization blossom into what it should be. End of this chapter. Chapter 64 The Wish at the End of the Trip. Chapter 64 The Wish at the End of the Trip. Things about me and my boyfriend traveling around the world. Bulma. On August 8th. Unexpectedly, I started writing a diary. Damn, Tang En actually said that I was not a serious person! Only the devil knows what he means. August 8th. Dr. Gallo is so awesome. His android technology surprised me! Humph. If it weren't for Dr. Gallo being a big pervert who likes to voyeur, I would definitely ask Dawn to live with me for a while longer. August 8th. The monkey on the mountain is so cunning, not like Wukong at all. On August 8th, the hot spring on the top of the mountain was so comfortable! Also, Tang is really awesome. Hee hee. September 9th. The octopus in the sea is so disgusting! Damn Tang En, he actually left me here alone! The submarines are all tangled up! Woo woo woo. On the afternoon of September 9th, Tang brought me ashore, and that super octopus was surprisingly delicious. On September 9, people like Tang En were able to fly freely! What a cheat! September 9th. Rainy, so boring. October 10th. Tang En was so weird today. When he got up in the morning and washed up, he kept singing something about getting up or something. Okay! Why can he be so happy and silly all the time? On November 11th, I didn't expect that martial arts on Earth would start to become more popular. November 11th. What? A fat woman is super annoying! I don't want his husband to win the championship. On November 11th, humming, sure enough. Tang En can win the championship in any martial arts tournament he participates in. December 12th. Are so annoying. I was laughed at so badly by that guy Tang En today! Woo woo woo. December 12th. Tang En was scared by me today. But he was too stupid, and his disguise was so bad! September 1. Sunny. On March 3rd. I don't know what happened to Tang En tonight. He kept saying that he was degenerate. On March 3rd. Early this morning, Tang En showed off several seeds to me, saying that they were seeds for cultivating people, and that there was no such thing on the earth. Does that mean he has secretly traveled to the universe? March 3rd. When I woke up this evening, I found that Tang En was not in bed. Well, when I went to look for him, it turned out that one of his men actually sneaked out to exercise. Unknowingly, Tang had given up practicing and stayed with me for more than half a year. Time flies so fast. Okay, I'm ready to end my trip, and I'm so reluctant to leave. On March 3rd. I didn't expect Tang En to use teleportation to collect Dragon Balls during his trip! Now that we have 5, we decided to collect all 7 again at the end of the trip to summon the dragon. Hey, what are you thinking about, Tang En? Bulma stood on tiptoes and gently hugged Tang En's neck. It's nothing. I'm just wondering whether lemon can be used to make milk tea. Tang En said, shaking his head. Forehead. Yes. Tang En feels that he has fallen really this kind of life where you don't have to work, study, worry about money, and have a beautiful girl who is willing to play with you all day long is really abominable. Pooh! Tang En despises himself for not working hard. That's it. Bulma flipped her hair. What was the problem? By the way, the last Dragon Ball is 100 miles away from here. We can collect it all tomorrow. Tang En came to his senses and said to Bulma. Not lacking in these skills, Tang En simply didn't use teleportation. Wow, are they all collected yet? I'm so looking forward to it. Well, of course Tang En had already thought about the wish he wanted to make this time! Looking back on his experiences over the past 6 months, Tang En really only had one feeling, that is like a dream. MMP. I am so lucky. Stop talking, even if Jesus wants to destroy the earth from now on, I have to stop him! It's here. The next day, Tang En pushed away a huge stone and found the Dragon Ball stuck inside. I have really found a planet, Bulma said happily. Okay. Tang En picked up an orb, and then teleported to an open space with Bulma. Tang En took out his backpack and poured out the remaining 6 Dragon Balls. Bang bang, the 7 Dragon Balls finally gathered together again at this moment. I didn't expect that it was me, Tang, who summoned you. He come out. Shenlong. Hold head high click. It was a familiar scene again, and in an instant, the world was shrouded in darkness. Hold head high! Say your wish, no matter what it is, I will make it come true for you. Shenlong's classic opening remarks. Tang En didn't have a note this time, because he believed that the dragon would definitely satisfy this wish. It's cheap for you. Cough cough cough, still clearing your throat first. Shenlong, please let my Bulma stay young forever in her life. Tang En shouted. Huh? Bulma covered her mouth, hold head high. Shenlong didn't hesitate, only his eyes flashed red. Your wish has been granted. Goodbye. Call out in an instant. The dragon turned into 7 stones again and was scattered all over the world again. This can be regarded as the smoothest he has ever walked. How do you feel? Tang En gently hugged Bulma and asked Wu. Bulma's eyes were already full of tears at this time. Fool, do you need to be so excited? Tang En scratched his head. He felt that this was not a surprise. After all, at his level, it would only take him a long time to concentrate on collecting Dragon Balls. Shall we go back? Tang En patted Bulma's back gently. Okay. Teleport. After more than half a year, I, Tang Hansen of Wan Nang Group, have finally returned. Doctor, welcome back. Kabaki welcomed without knowing it. Pilaf and the 3 others still escaped. Tang En also knew about this half a year ago. Well, I wish them good luck. I wish they could eat roasted sweet potatoes every day. Okay, time to start your own research. Kabaki, I have a great idea. Come with me. Tang En thought about the results of his research with Dr. Gallo during this period and became eager to try Kabaki. Well. How Kabeki's 6th sense actually felt a sense of crisis for no reason. What was going on? What? Looking at Tang En, who was smirking wildly, Kabeki couldn't help taking a step back. Bulma, I'm going to do experiments all night tonight, so don't sleep too late, Tang En said to Bulma. Kakaka. Tang En clasped his fingers. At this moment, he was staring straight at Kabaki, looking eager to try. Forehead. Bulma covered her forehead. Is it really okay for you to directly experiment with Kabaki like this? Well, remember not to be too miserable. Chinese letter K. Ki made a swallowing motion. He was a little scared. End of this chapter. Chapter 65, The Arrival of Tianjin Rice. Chapter 65, The Arrival of Tianjin Rice. Work. Tang En returned to his original life again. Boring but fulfilling. Soon, Tang En once again picked up the exercise that had been neglected for a long time. At the same time, he continued to explore and practice the mysterious Tianjin fist, but neither of them made any progress. At other times, Tang En has been studying how to insert a perpetual energy furnace into Kabeki while maintaining his memory of his character. But this matter made him worried, because Tang En felt that it was more interesting for him to be the king of strong words. In fact, Kabaki's intelligence is not inferior to that of any human being. Since his birth, Tang En has actually been innovating and improving him. However, Tang En really has a tendency to suffer from persecution paranoia in this regard. Androids are so scary. I don't know if KP would curse after knowing Tang En's thoughts. Why did I end up with such a master? Heaven and earth can judge my loyalty. But now, Tang En doesn't really believe that KP will lose control. After all, it has been operating normally for so long. It seems that I'm really not suitable to be a scientist. Tang En complained that a scientist must first have the will to dare to think and dare to do. It is really hard to be as timid as he is. Zirazla, done once again innovated for Kabeki, and this time he did add a combat system. However, there are still some imperfections in the infinite energy theory. Tang En said that he could not study it, so he just wanted to eat it ready-made. This time I have laid a foundation for Kabeki, and I am just waiting for Dr. Gallo to finish it. Doctor, someone is calling you outside. Kabaki released a projection, and a 3-eyed boy appeared in it. There was a little man floating next to him. Tianjin rice and dumplings. Kabji carries all the monitoring information of Wan Nang Group, and Tianjin fans' information is in Kabji's database. Therefore, when Kabji saw Tianjin fan coming to find Tang En, he gave a warning. Tianjin rice. There are also dumplings. What are they doing here? Is the practice in the temple over? Tang En was a little confused. Well, there must be something going on. Kabeki, give him permission to come in. They are our friends now. Yes, Doctor. Kabeki responded. Tisk, the door is open soon. Under the guidance of Kabeki, Tianjin rice and dumplings arrived in front of Tang En. Yeah, it's really quite different. Tianjin rice, you have made great progress, and the dumplings are also very good. Tang En expressed his sincere admiration. Really great. At this moment, Tianjin Fan's strength has reached the level of 300, which has exceeded the 23rd world no. Budokai in the original work. The practice in the temple was still very successful. But it's still not enough. Tianjin Fan said slightly unwillingly. Thinking of Sun Wukong getting stronger day by day, Tianjin Fan felt a sense of urgency in his heart. I came here this time just to ask you what should I do next. Tianjin Fan bowed slightly. Mr. Bobo told me that you might have a way. That's it. So that's how it is. Tang En rubbed his chin, thinking seriously about ways to improve Tianjin Fan's strength. After all, Tianjin Fan is a truly dedicated martial artist. After all, I don't even want a wife. Absolutely. Tianjin Fan looked directly at Tang En with a very solemn expression. What are you looking at? Tang En was so embarrassed that he was being stared at. I'm a wall hanging. I really can't stand your soul torture. Looking for the great elder to improve his strength. Tang En thought seriously. This is slightly inappropriate. Although Tianjin Fan's strength may expand rapidly in an instant, Tianjin Fan does not look like a person who purely pursues strength. In the original work, no one actively asked the great elder to improve their potential. After all, not everyone will accept the sudden strength as a matter of course. And there is another disadvantage. That is, it once again increases Tianjin Fan's current predicament, making his originally difficult road even more difficult to develop. Especially when Tang En told Tianjin Fan, okay, your potential has been fully developed by the Great Elder. Tang En could even think of Tianjin Fan's expression. Forget it, I'm thinking of something else. After all, this is not the only one. Tang En's thinking in this regard is particularly broad. After all, I have been thinking about it for many years. Okay, so Tianjin Fan, I thought of it. Let me teach you a set of boxing techniques. Tang En plans to pass the Tianjin fist to Tianjin Fan. Cough cough. Tang En didn't even realize how generous he was now. He wouldn't have done this 6 months ago. Even though Tianjin Fan was his partner, of course he would feel unhappy if Tang En shared his biggest trump card with others. Why? Exclamation, but Tang En was different at this moment. He was very satisfied with his life, and everything seemed a little boring in front of it. Ugh. That's right. Tang En is so unambitious today. Tang En also thought at this time that he not only wanted to pass on the Tianjin fist to Tianjin fans. In time, I will pass it on to all those in the world who are qualified to practice it. The stronger everyone becomes, the more secure my life will be, Tang En thought. After all, those demon Sharu should not be too scary. Unexpectedly, I have become so kind, fair, and selfless. Call tilde so. Tang En carefully explained to Tianjin Fan the various techniques of Tianjin fist. Then, when the breath passes through the beihui and shoulder sheaths of the body and returns to the navel, it is considered a reincarnation. The cycle goes on and on, endlessly. Understand? Tang En is familiar with these processes. Over time, the body will mutate on its own, and I will turn it into a divine factor. Then, Tang En said a lot of nonsense again, leaving the Tianjin rice and dumplings where he was now with his eyes closed and deep in thought. The two looked at each other and asked doubtfully, I have never seen such a weird cultivation method. Is it just enough to circulate the breath? So simply Tianjin rice tries to operate. Otherwise, I will leave all my best moves to you. Tang En was a little bit disappointed. Tianjin Fan stared at Tang En and bowed deeply to express his gratitude. Well, help people to the end and send Buddha to the west. Wait a moment. Tang En turned around and entered the room. When he came out again, Tang En already had a delicate bottle in his hand. These 3 seeds come in handy. P.S. Don't worry, everyone, this book with over 1 million words should still be good. It is expected to be on the shelves on June 20th after more than words. I will finish it for him regardless of the results. End of this chapter. Chapter 66 The Role of Cultivating People. Chapter 66 The Role of Cultivating People. Tang En turned around and entered the room. When he came in again, he already had a delicate bottle in his hand. These 3 seeds come in handy. Tang En planted it in the ground, poured the special liquid on it, and waited quietly. This is Tianjin. Rice and dumplings were a little confused about what Tang En meant by doing this. Kakagolem. Soon, the soil surged, and powerful auras emerged from 3 directions, which shocked Tianjin. Fan! Don't panic, this is the cultivator in the universe, and I have already controlled it, Tang En said to Tianjin Fan. The 3 cultivators quickly grew out and kept stretching their bodies. Just looking at this appearance makes me feel a little nauseous. The cultivators couldn't speak, but they knew that Tang En was their master, and they knew that they couldn't resist. Looking at the well-behaved cultivator, Tang En nodded. No wonder this kind of thing is always in short supply. Not only is it powerful, but it is also very loyal. Tang En sensed that the combat power of these 3 guys was similar to that of Vegeta and Nappa. They all had a strength of about 1,200. This. At this moment, Tianjin Fan was already sweating on his head, looking at the creature in front of him in disbelief. What is this? The aura is terrifyingly powerful. The most important thing is that such a powerful thing actually obeys Tang En's orders. This sits a bit beyond the awareness of Tianjin Fans. After all, Tang En's normal strength is usually hidden in order to reduce consumption. It is normal for Tianjin Fans not to understand Tang En's true strength. It seems that you have passed the training in the temple, Tianjin Fan. Tang En nodded. The breath judgment is pretty accurate. Now, you and Dumpling will fight this guy in the days to come, Tang En said. Go ahead and remember not to harm their lives, Tang En said to a cultivator. Oh, then. The cultivator jumped up high and landed in front of Tianjin Fan. Only then did Tianjin Fan realize that he was giving himself and the dumplings a rival. Ma is in trouble. Tianjin Fan was not good at words, but at this moment his heart was full of complicated feelings, and he deeply remembered Tang En's help. Tang En thought about it for a moment, then said to Tianjin Fan, in this case, you don't have to go to the temple specifically. Of course, you can't live in my house. You can find a place to practice on your own. Okay. Tianjin Fan and Dumpling looked at the cultivator, who was smiling but not smiling, still feeling a little uncomfortable. Tang En also saw the worries of these 2 people. After all, the gap between the 2 and the cultivator was too big. Okay, you 2 don't have to worry. If you are killed by the cultivator, I will ask Shenlong to resurrect you. Well, this sentence made Tianjin Fan, who was about to leave, stagger and almost fall to the ground. What? Tianjin Fan was shocked. This sentence was naturally a joke from Tang En. He just felt that it would be too boring to have cold meals in Tianjin every day. The universe is vast, limited yet boundless. And within the endless world, there are 18 inner universes that mirror each other, vast and magnificent! Together they form a magical world called the All-King Universe. But this is the beginning, and now there are only 12 universes left. You were much more interesting in the past than you are now. This is the look of a bad old man. Far away, the eyes of the 2 strong men passed through the limitations of space and time, and they talked about each other. That's funny, especially you. It's best not to mention that period of time to me. After all, you can tell just by looking at it. You old guy is out of date. Oh, are you angry? The old man was not angry either. I won't grow old. I just want to be happy now. What about I'll teach you a set of boxing skills? How can you, a tough guy, be so generous? The old man bent over and laughed until tears came out. Go to hell. The light shines! But there is no sound then. An eternal divine light exploded on the old man's body, sending him flying to an unknown location. Fortunately, both of them were in the void, otherwise the entire universe would have been destroyed by this attack. Ah, Tang En shivered inexplicably and couldn't help but touch his nose with his fingers. What the hell? Tang En came back to his senses. Soon, Tang En realized that there were still 2 cultivators left to deal with. This thing is of no use to him. After all, with his current strength, the trainer cannot be his opponent. Okay, then let's give it away. Teleport. The bustling temple has another guest pat. The sound of Tang En landing attracted everyone's attention. Ox and your brother Tang En. Maslow shouted, "It's been a long time." Yo, Maslow. Tang En waved his hand. Rem and Klin's eyes moved over one after another. When did Tang En come? This is teleportation. Tang En briefly explained this skill to everyone. Squawy. Klin couldn't help but praise. Senior brother Tang En, what is that weird guy behind you? Maslow said, pointing to the cultivator. Bobo also stared at these things. Bobo knew very well that there should be no such powerful monsters on the earth. He had never heard of it from the gods of the past. Oh, this is called a cultivator. It's a thing from the universe. I specially brought it to you as a sparring partner. Tang En said simply. In the universe? Then they should be very strong, right? Maslow continued to ask. It should be so at present, but they can only exist for half a year, and then they will wither. I see. Taking advantage of this moment, Tang En glanced at everyone's strength. It's very good. They have all made great progress, especially Klin, whose aura has reached his early S. They are all teachable talents. You continue to practice. I'll go check on Wukong. Tang En left a cultivator with Klin and others. After telling him again not to kill anyone, he turned around and looked for the gravity chamber. Mr. Bobo, I'm going to say hello to the god. Bobo nodded and pointed to the temple. Master Tianjin and Sun Wukong are both in the temple. Okay. Tang En also noticed that the gravity chamber had been moved by the gods to the inside of the temple. Then, Tang En walked into the temple with ease. It's amazing. Wukong. Tang En felt that Sun Wukong's strength had reached the level of 400, and his aura was obviously active, and he was always ready to move. Tang En feels that within 2 days, Sun Wukong will make a breakthrough. I think back when he reached this point, he struggled in the spiritual world for a month. According to Tianjin Fan, Sun Wukong only stayed in the gravity chamber for less than a week. I'm afraid this monkey will practice faster in the future, and I will be torn apart. Tang En still couldn't help but complain. Then, 10 times gravity will probably soon be unable to satisfy Sun Wukong's heavy training load. Tang En thought subconsciously. Like in the original work, Sun Wukong adapted to Kaiu's gravity in almost a short time. In less than a year, not only did he increase his strength to 8,000, but he also learned the Kaiu fist and the energy bomb. Then, Tang En walked into the gravity room and saw a scene that surprised him. It's a new week. I want to go to the top of the light novel rising star list. Everyone should have received the small transparent investment income, and there will be continuous explosions in 2 days. By the way, if you have anything you want to complain about, just leave it in the comment area and I will see it more clearly. No personal attacks allowed. However, if it comes to plot issues, I definitely can't change it. After all, the plots in the outline are all interlocking. End of this chapter. Chapter 67 The Grown-Up Wukong. Chapter 67 The Grown-Up Wukong. Wukong. No wonder Tang En was surprised. After all, after spending so long with Sun Wukong, the image of little Wukong has completely occupied his subjective impression. Now Wukong's sudden growth finally made Tang En react. Profound exclamation. Yes, Sun Wukong was supposed to be like this. Oh, Tang En, you're here. Sun Wukong stopped training and shouted to Tang En. Then, Sun Wukong turned over and stood up after breathing for a while. It's so hard to be so heavy. Sun Wukong put his hands on his hips carelessly. Tang En laughed out loud. Wukong, you have become much taller. The originally small man suddenly turned into a handsome guy of nearly 1.8 meters. Even if Tang En knew this very well, he couldn't help but sigh. Hee, that's what the Tianjin fans said too. I seem to have grown really tall. It's really troublesome. Sun Wukong scratched his head and said embarrassedly, Plin will be surprised. After all, he has always been obsessed with not being as tall as you. Tang En said with certainty. Unexpectedly, Sun Wukong looked nostalgic. By the way, I wonder how Xiaolin's practice is going? Well, isn't he in the temple? Wukong, what is the use of the breath you learned? Tang En couldn't help being speechless and asked with a black line. Huh? Really? Sun Wukong scratched his head again. Oh, it turns out that Klin and the others have already arrived at the temple. Ahahaha. It turns out that's it. I didn't even notice that they were coming up. Well, Tang En doesn't know what to say. Maybe this is also in line with Sun Wukong's current appearance. After all, according to the plot, when Sun Wukong became a Super Saiyan on Namek, his mind and strength had conceptually improved, and he became the absolute core of the Z warriors. It's so cool when you aim a hand cannon at Kaishin! Beerus calls him an expert when he sees it. Then, Sun Wukong interrupted Tang En's random thoughts. Twain, what is that thing behind you? This is a cultivator, also known as a vegetable person, vegetable man? Yes. After saying that, Tang En felt that he needed to remind him again. Wukong, you can't eat this kind of thing. I specially sent this to you as a sparring partner. After all, it would be too wasteful to leave it with me. Sun Wukong nodded blankly at the cultivator. Gulu. The cultivator shifted his gaze to Sun Wukong's face. Ah yes, he is so strong, Sun Wukong said with interest. By the way, God said you prepared this gravity chamber for me. I haven't even had time to thank you yet. Tang En. Tang En waved his hand. It was just a piece of cake for him. Well, it doesn't matter. If you must thank me, then you should quickly surpass me. Yes, I will. Sun Wukong was also really rude and said seriously. Tang En also wanted to fight Sun Wukong again on a whim. After all, the number of times I can defeat this guy is probably limited. The result is obvious. Sun Wukong completely lost. Of course, this stimulated Sun Wukong again, so he started rigorous training again. Come on, Tang En encouraged him silently. It's harmful. If your efforts are effective, why do you need to use cheats? These words that were inappropriate suddenly appeared in Tang En's mind. But Tang En still thought about how he asked the Great Elder to improve his potential, and couldn't help but feel a little happy. Anyway, he is different from others. Tang En just pursues strength. As long as it does not violate the principles, Tang En is willing to take shortcuts. Next, after Sun Wukong learned that Klin and others came to the temple, he finally left the gravity room where he had stayed for several days. And Klin was really shocked by Sun Wukong's height, and then he was so jealous that he burst into tears. For the next 2 days, Tang En also stayed in the temple. The purpose, of course, I gave the God Fist to a few other people. Several people were very happy. Everyone also heard that this was Tang En's most powerful move, and they quickly practiced it seriously. Tang En patiently taught them 2 days of lessons. Well, it turns out something big happened. Evil door! Tang En discovered that Sun Wukong, Klin, and the others had absolutely no results in this regard! Tang En became a little curious. After all, forget about everyone else. Why did someone like Bobo, who knows so much about aura, fail? If Tang En remembers correctly. At that time, he remembered that a small amount of divine factors began to be born when it was first operated. This made Tang En unbelievable. No, is there anything special about me? Then, Tang En stayed in the temple for another week. Well, Tang En has finally determined that no one can transform the divine factor. So it will be like this. An unexpected feeling. Helpless, Tang En had no choice but to resist the idea of continuing the experiment. After all, they all needed time at this stage. However, Tang En still summed up some ideas. The reason why people are unable to practice may be due to the following two reasons: The first point is that my Tianjin fist was directly instilled in my brain through Shenlong. I cannot clearly understand the profoundness of Tianjin fist through retelling it. Secondly, there are very few people who can learn this move, and only those who meet this condition can do it. Above, in fact, Tang En doesn't agree with the first one. After all, he has made the heavenly fist very clear and everyone follows it, so there shouldn't be any gap. What about the second one? Tang En knew that this boxing technique was left behind by the first generation of gods in the temple, so there should be at least two people in history who knew it: himself and the first generation of gods. So what do they have in common? Can't figure it out. It's so annoying that that guy from the first generation of gods didn't pass down this boxing technique so that more people could try it, so that he could see the limitations of this boxing technique. Before this, Tang En thought that anyone could practice this trick. Ugh, correct. Tang En thought of a doubt. Yes, why didn't a generation of gods pass down this boxing technique? After all, the Earth's situation was so critical at that time, and it was a matter of life and death. There was no need to waste such a powerful move at that time. Tang En thought about it again. According to the memory, a generation of gods came back from the underworld, built a temple, brought the method of cultivating Kai, chose a successor and left. And he became a legend, and no one knew where he went. Then why didn't he leave the Tianjin fist to his heir? You want to? Probably not. After all, humanity on Earth was on the verge of extinction at that time. If Tang En were a god, he thought he would save his compatriots. If it is just to spread a piece of Tianjin, there should be no reason not to do it unless suddenly, Tang En thought in his heart, could it be that a generation of gods knew that no one could master this boxing technique? Guys, this is possible! After all, even today's Bobo, Sun Wukong, and others cannot meet the requirements, so it is very likely that no one could learn it at that time. This idea surprised Tang En. If this was the case, then he should be very similar to that generation of gods, and this place should be special enough. This Tang En couldn't help but start thinking wildly. Is it possible that the first generation of gods is also a time traveler? Tang En complained silently. End of this chapter. Chapter 68: Preparations for the Martial Arts Association. Chapter 68: Preparations for the Martial Arts Association. Is it possible that the first generation of gods is also a time traveler? Tang En complained silently. After all, this is the most fundamental difference between him and others. Stop it. This is too fantasy. If this is the case, how powerful should he be after so many years? You're not looking at me, right? Tang En picked his head and thought sadly. Oh my god, I can't think about it anymore. It's too scary. Forehead Clen and others looked at Tang En, who was talking to himself, wondering what he was talking about. Tang En came to his senses and gave up the messy thoughts in his mind. But he still couldn't help but murmured, brother, I didn't mean to disrupt the plot. You have lived for so many years. You shouldn't still be enjoying the flow of this plot, right? Please be merciful and turn a blind eye and let me go. Cough, cough, cough. Tang En simply directed and acted, making random remarks. Everyone, I'm sorry for wasting so much time. Ha ha ha, no way, Clen said nonchalantly. Tilda. It's obvious that our practice is too shallow. Maslow lowered his head and said in frustration. Rem patted his shoulder comfortingly. Stop pretending and practice with peace of mind. There will be a martial arts club in a year. Tang En hugged his arms and said something to Maslow. This guy won't be sad about this. Who is he pretending to show now? At this moment, Tang En was worrying about another thing. What should he tell the Tianjin fans? Well, poor Tianjin fans, they must be doubting life at this time, right? After all, if nothing else happened, Tianjin rice and dumplings would probably have been practicing silently for more than a week. Tang En scratched his head, feeling a little embarrassed. The fact is exactly that. At this moment, in a barren rocky area somewhere on the earth. Who? Tianjin fan took a deep breath. At this time, under the double blow of the cultivator and the Tianjin fist, Tianjin Fan was really at a loss. Is the gap so big? Sitting cross-legged, Tianjin Fan sighed silently. After all, the situation of Tianjin rice is special. After all, although Klin and others in the temple have not yet mastered it, they all know that others cannot be much better than them. By comparison, it feels like there is no loss. But Tianjin rice is different. After all, he only has dumplings as a reference. And since Dumpling hasn't fully mastered the breath yet, it makes sense that he can't practice Tianjin fist. Over the past week or so, he has spent a lot of time practicing this boxing technique, but to no avail. A person's breath itself is his own thing. It is impossible to make sense of it by operating the existing breath to generate new power. Tianjin Fan looked at the completely dark sky and thought silently. Maybe this is just a way to control your own breath. After all, I didn't see the effect that Tang En said at all. However, this did give me a new idea. Tianjin Fan looked at his hands and shook them gently. Perhaps I should condense my breath to a small point and imitate the principle of Qigong Canon. If I can compress my breath to the extreme, I can achieve the effect of improving strength that Tang En said. But this doesn't seem to have much to do with the Tianjin fist. Tianjin Fan felt that Tang En had no reason to lie to him. So, what went wrong with me? Just when Tianjin rice was unwilling to give in and was ready to try again, a certain instigator instantly moved in front of him! In the middle of the night. Tianjin fans were really shocked! Brother Tian, let me discuss something with you. Tianjin Fan. Next, Tang En and Tianjin Fan discussed the issue of breath cultivation all night, which actually gave Tianjin Fan a lot to think about. After all, in terms of knowledge, Tang En still has all kinds of useful information. Of course, before leaving, Tang En still told Tianjin Fan about the situation of Tianjin fist. At that time, Tianjin Fan's expression was extremely exciting. Time flies so fast, and half a year has passed in the blink of an eye. During this period of time, Tang En once again made various attempts to achieve breakthroughs in martial arts. With his extraordinary knowledge reserve, Tang En's normal strength has really improved. But compared to the previous total of more than 3, these improvements are negligible. Royal palace like this. You know what I mean. In the government hall, Tang En said to Pierce. This time, the world's martial arts tournament was about to start again, and Tang En took the initiative to arrange some things this time. Although Tang En is no longer too enthusiastic about this game, after all, he is still strong enough now. However, other partners still have unique feelings about this game. And Tang En's words. He feels that after this martial arts meeting, he will probably have to take the first step into the universe. Before leaving, it's a good idea to watch everyone's competition! In this case, let's make the game as lively as possible. A few days ago, on top of the temple, by the way, Demon King Piccolo will also participate in this world's best martial arts tournament. Tang En said to everyone. Okay. Demon King Piccolo's not already. Everyone was shocked and quickly asked Tang En what happened at that time. Only then did everyone know that the big devil had a child! Some people are happy and some are worried. For example, Wukong became even happier after hearing the news, gearing up for the next game. And Klin was a little worried. Seeing that things were almost ready, Tang En wanted to make arrangements in advance. After all, the current crowd is much more powerful than in the original work. For example, Sun Wukong, after a year of training in the gravity chamber, his combat power has reached 5,000. Although it is not as good as the 1-year training of the original King Kai, it is still far behind the others. A competition of this level is unusual. Therefore, in order to prevent the aftermath from hurting ordinary people, Tang En proposed that this game be broadcast live, so that the audience no longer needs to watch it directly. At this time, because of Tang En's influence, the effectiveness of the #1 martial arts club in the world has been completely changed. Unlike the little transparent one in the original work, It has now truly become the #1 martial arts club in the world. Assuming that this game is carried out again, the scale is expected to reach the level of the Majin Buu chapter in the original work. The only difference is that one of the two martial arts conferences was promoted by Tang En, and the other was promoted by Satan. Moreover, in order to allow the arena to withstand stronger competitions, the king ordered the construction of a stronger competition area for Budu Temple a year ago. Pierce nodded and agreed to Tang En's proposal. So, Your Excellency Tang En is not going to participate in the world's best martial arts in a week? The king asked tentatively. Now, this is not important, it doesn't matter anymore. In the past 2 years, Twain was like Superman, solving riots around the world. After all, teleportation is completely effortless. Moreover, every time it comes time for Tang En to take action, it must be a headache for the government. In each battle, the traces left by those sharp attacks once again shocked the brains of all people on Earth! Is this really something humans can do through practice? God of martial arts at this moment, if Tang En went out now, 90.00% of the people on the Earth would know him. Moreover, after several years of preparation, brand new martial arts seeds have gradually begun to be born on the Earth. Considerable changes are taking place at all levels. But Tang En couldn't control these things, so naturally there were people to worry about for him. However, the real reason why Tang En does not plan to participate in the martial arts tournament is because there is really no opponent on Earth who can defeat Tang En. Of course, assuming that Tang En and Sun Wukong can fight a few more times, I believe that Sun Wukong can surpass Tang En's normal strength with his ability to recover from frequent deaths. Of course, it was not necessary at the moment, and Tang En was not so old as he took the initiative to propose the idea of beating the person half to death. It's good to let Sun Wukong gradually accumulate knowledge. That's such a shame, the king lamented. The Martial Arts Association without Mr. Tang En cannot be called the best martial arts association in the world. The king flattered him appropriately. Then let's leave this matter to Tong Lia, how about it? Pierce turned to ask his daughter. Okay, father. Tong Lia responded. Please give me some coins _arigataguzaimasu End of this chapter. Chapter 69 Piccolo&amp #039's life. Chapter 69 Piccolo's life. This is Piccolo's personal inner monologue, where Rubik is a noble demon, destined to be born different. The whole world will be trampled under my feet. This is what my father told me. He said let evil never stop, so I was born. However, my father was killed by a humble human being. I couldn't understand it. Do tiny humans actually have such power? When I was born, a pair of old human beings adopted me. They regarded me as their son given by God. It's so ridiculous, they are so whimsical. Even the old guy from God probably doesn't want to see me grow up, righto, but there was nothing he could do. In the days that followed, 2 humans always stared at me and laughed. They are happy. This makes me feel like I am not a qualified demon. I thought in my heart that when I grow up, I must kill these 2 humans. I broke my promise. I didn't kill them. Those 2 damn humans would rather starve themselves than feed me. It's so stupid. How could the noble demons eat low-level human food? I burned down their house and tried to laugh like my father. But I couldn't laugh. This makes me very upset. The 2 humble humans looked at me in fear. This is only right. This is what I want. But I really didn't feel the happiness that my father said. I am angry! I think these humans are trying to assimilate me. How despicable! I ran into a forest, determined not to come into contact with humans! When I grow up, I will cut the person who killed my father into pieces. Sure enough, I grew up very fast, and the life in my body surged continuously. I was fascinated by the inexhaustible power! This made me believe again in the power of demons. Gradually, I became more stern. However, this is what demons should be like. But I never expected that day to appear. This is simply a nightmare memory. I broke a little girl's model airplane because I wanted to. What they said was really annoying. I hate family affection. I hate those hypocritical humans. And I hate even more the fact that they act like that in front of me. Then the demon appeared, the human being who killed my father. A powerful mortal named Tang En. He said my behavior was driven by jealousy. It's so ridiculous. How could I, be jealous of that level of family affection! Seeing that powerful human being made me angry. But there was nothing I could do. So I had no choice but to run away in panic and continue to wait for my own growth. My father told me very clearly that as long as I can mature, I will be the strongest in the world! However, with my current strength, I simply cannot avoid his tracking. I know he must be afraid of my growth. So he came to kill me ahead of time! What a shameful human being! I cannot be reconciled! He struggled desperately, but in vain. Just when I was about to give up, that person didn't kill me. He began to say that I am not a demon, that I don't have to inherit my father's will, and so on. Simply ridiculous! Do you want these words to make me give up my ambitions? He didn't say anything, but I despised him without mercy in my heart. The guy talked more and more vigorously, but it seemed that he really didn't mean to kill me, and my mood was a little more stable. He said I was in the 2nd grade, but I didn't understand what he meant. But one thing is undeniable! Stupid human being. When I, the great demon King Piccolo, reach the peak again, it will be your death. Sure enough, he left, and even showed a confident smile before leaving. Do you think you are funny, or do you think you have successfully convinced me? I was very speechless in my heart. I didn't want to deal with this human being with a brain problem. It made me look stupid. I thought this was the end, but this was just the beginning. In the time to come, that human on Earth will torture me every once in a while. Wow. I'm going crazy! But I don't dare to resist yet! That human will take pictures of me despicably. I feel like my life is all gloomy. Will this be the case for me in the future? It would be better to die. I tried to avoid him, but I didn't understand why he always knew where I was! The same thing repeats over and over again, and my hatred for that damn human being reaches its peak. Later, I became silent and understood. This guy was sent here by God. God is always watching me, so this guy will always know where I am. I suddenly felt like I was hiding like a clown! I began to hate God! Although I have never had any good impressions of him! I won't hide anymore because I know that person doesn't dare to kill me! I am one with God, and that person can never take my life. As long as I grow up, I can surpass them all. My father told me this and I believe it! Finally, that person came again. I spoke frankly what was on my mind. He also agreed and admitted that he did not dare to kill me. I was very proud, thinking that I had found the other person's weakness. He just looked at me like that. But I never expected that my worldview would be shattered in the following time. He didn't insult me again this time, he just knocked me out. When I wake up again, I came to another place, which they said was Namek. Namek, what is this place? Why do people here look exactly like me? I began to be frightened because they said this was another planet, and my original Earth was extremely far away from here. I may never go back. I didn't want to listen to them, so I struggled desperately to prove my anger! But I soon discovered that these people were stronger than me. Everyone is stronger than me. I was silent again soon. A man named Nalu took me to another place. Naruto is said to be the most powerful man on the planet. But I don't accept it. It's just because he is a few years older than me. Immediately afterwards, Nalu took me to see the Great Elder. Great Elder is the moment I first saw him. I felt a warmth in my heart that I had never experienced before. In my heart, I even want me to go over and hug him! But I hold back. That would be too shameful. Immediately afterwards, the Great Elder hugged me very well, and I felt very warm, which was something I had never felt before. This time I didn't resist. Soon, I fell asleep. When I woke up again, I felt much calmer. Only then did I realize that I was really not a demon. It's the Nankians in the universe. My father also came from this place before he separated from the gods. That idiot like Earthling is actually right. It's really ridiculous. Is this my hometown? Call exclamation. I took a deep breath and carefully looked at everything on this planet. There are Dragon Balls here too, and they are extra large. There are also young people, children, and old men here. Of course, they are all the children of the Great Elder. And I also know my own life experience. I, or rather my father's father, am called Kadas. He was also a super powerful Nankian, but he died in the cataclysm many years ago. People here treat me well and never exclude me because of my specialness. Thinking of this, I found that it was not so uncomfortable here. The Great Elder told me Tang En's story, and he asked me not to hate him. But how is this possible? But I didn't want the Great Elder to be unhappy, so I nodded. I started practicing here, and I vowed to surpass everyone here. Naturally, I soon surpassed my father in his youth. But then I discovered that my father had lied to me, or that Tang En had lied to my father. I still can't beat anyone, which embarrasses me. At this time, the Great Elder said that I was a genius more talented than anyone else. He said that if I can become one with the gods again, I will immediately become the most perfect Nankian in the world. But I don't want to. If I were to merge with that god, I would rather die. Next, I started to practice hard. Because I want the Great Elder to know that even without fusion, I, Piccolo, can become the best Nankian. End of this chapter. Chapter 70 Returning to Namek. Chapter 70 Returning to Namek. Clap clap boom exclamation in the sky. Three figures collided fiercely with great momentum uproar. Maslow punched Klin in front of him. Klin resisted, holding his arms in front of him. What? Klin groaned and was knocked back half a step. Except, Rem fell from the sky and punched Maslow with a fist exclamation. Maslow felt Rem's aura keenly and quickly made a move to dodge. Rem turned around in an instant, turned his fists into legs, and struck Maslow's waist with a sweeping attack. Boom exclamation. Maslow hurriedly raised his arms to block, but unexpectedly Rem's move was so powerful and heavy that he was kicked straight down. Be careful. A burst of light emerged from Klin's palm, and he fired a shot at Rem, who had the upper hand. Exclamation. What? Boom exclamation. Rem pushed away the air bomb, and then launched an attack in the direction of Klin. Exclamation. The air bomb that was knocked away fell on the temple and overturned a piece of land with a bang. Harem and Klin fought in close quarters, fists, shadows, and kicks interacting with each other. Maslow on the side was not willing to lag behind, and after seeing the opportunity he also joined in, making the battle complicated again. Soon, the three people's offensive gradually became one sharp and extraordinary exclamation. Standing in front of the palace gate, Tianjin and Boba watched the battle between the three people. There was no doubt that they had taught the three of them everything they could. The three of them have made rapid progress. They are not inferior to Tang En back then, the god said slowly to Bobo while leaning on a cane. Yes, their progress is far beyond Bobo's imagination. There was actually a trace of a smile on Bobo's face. However, his smile seemed darker. Wukong had left the temple not long ago and began to prepare for the next martial arts meeting, and the former cultivators on the temple have also been abolished. However, Sun Wukong's tree was accidentally broken by the monkey. At this time, Sun Wukong felt very guilty and was also afraid of Tang En's blame. This made everyone dumbfounded. During this period of time, with the help of Cultivator and Bobo, everyone's strength has improved by leaps and bounds, and they are no longer comparable to what they used to be. Mr. Bobo, does Tang En really want to bring Bic back? God asked slowly. Bobo nodded. Lord Tianjin, Tang En should have come into contact with Tianjin's family. I don't know. Bobo looked at the god quietly. In this case, the identity of the god is finally solved. It's really amazing. I didn't expect this child to be able to do it. Thank you so much to him. The god showed a smile. Lord God, aren't you going to visit your hometown? Bobo asked. Want to goth god thought for a moment. Forget it, mister. Bobo, I am the god of the earth. I have grown on this land since I can remember, and the earth is my hometown. Just let that place in the universe stay quietly in your memory, God thought silently. By the way, mister. Bobo, if Piccolo will really participate in the competition, remember not to reveal my relationship with him. The god said in a deep voice. He didn't know how strong Piccolo was now, but he knew that Klin, Maslow, and Rem were ridiculously strong and had already surpassed him. In this case, the god is not willing to prevent everyone from being able to freely display their own strength due to his own reasons. Okay, God. Bobo nodded. P.S. Everyone's fighting power at this moment. Kling, 1250 Maslow, 1185 Rem, 1219 Planet Namek. Brother Neru, what is Piccolo doing there? A young Namekian tugged on Neru's arm and asked him. Nelu looked down at the great elder's newly created child and explained to him seriously: he is practicing. Can I practice while sitting there without moving? Children always have a lot of problems. Well, the great elder said it's okay, but I don't know. Amazing. Neru looked at the adoring child, smiled and touched his head. Yeah, it's awesome. This guy Piccolo has been working so hard. Namekians do have various magical abilities. 3 years have long been enough for Piccolo, who has accepted all the essence of old Piccolo, to grow into a young man. In the 2 years on planet Namek, Piccolo undoubtedly broke through the limits again and again, whichever one saw. A person's vision is undoubtedly very important. And what Piccolo has learned and seen in the past 2 years is completely incomparable with the original book when he practiced alone. The guidance of the great elder, the training of the Namekians, and his own unremitting practice are enough to make Piccolo's already extraordinary body burst out with huge energy. The great demon King Piccolo back then was indeed no longer comparable to Piccolo now. At this moment, Piccolo was wearing a white cloak and sitting alone on a rock. This has become a unique scenery on Namek. Brother Nelu, why doesn't Piccolo like to talk? Does he not like us? The child asked again. Now, this question. Nelu shook his head and said helplessly, that guy, he is the guy who threatens to surpass all of us. Of course he is a bit cold and arrogant. Oh, will he become stronger than Brother Nerug? Nelu lowered his head and replied, maybe, but I won't give up so easily. The little Namekian shrank his head and then nodded without realizing it. Soon after, Nelu returned to the great elder again. Master Great Elder, Nelu said softly. Well, the kid hasn't let go of his obsession yet. The great elder murmured to himself. After a while, Nelu made up his mind and said to the great elder: Great Elder, can't Piccolo be left on Namek? This way he won't have any more conflicts with Earth, not to mention he is a Namekian. Cough cough. The great elder always seems to speak slowly and calmly: my child, you underestimate Piccolo too much. He has already thought about some things, but he just doesn't want to admit it. Is that Soneru clenched his fists, feeling a little uncomfortable, but unwilling to object to the great elder's words. The great elder seemed to sense something and shifted his gaze. Immediately afterwards, a voice sounded in Nelu's ears. Great Elder, and Nelu, long time no see. Tang En, who teleported, appeared in front of the two of them. Twain. Nelu's nervous look relaxed a lot. Ah ha ha, it's so dense. If the distance is too far, it's more convenient to teleport directly to someone. Tang En scratched his head. It was indeed rude to appear directly in front of others. By the way, I'm here to take Bic to Earth. Tang En said his purpose. After a moment of silence, Nelu looked at Tang En calmly and said calmly, Twain, Piccolo is obviously a Namekian. Why must he return to Earth? Tang En was dumbfounded when he heard this. What's the situation? Shouldn't Piccolo be on Earth although he is a Namek? Oh, yes. At this time, Tang En finally realized that Piccolo was indeed a serious Namekian. Moreover, I left him here when he was a child this time. I'm really not very strict with this operation. But Neru's opinion doesn't matter, but if the Great Elder and even Piccolo himself thought so, it would be completely out of the question. Tang En still respects the Great Elder. After all, he has helped him too much. End of this chapter. Chapter 71 Piccolo's Strength. Chapter 71 Piccolo's Strength. Although planet Namek is vast, life is very rare. Rocks and lakes are almost everywhere. Piccolo sat cross-legged, his closed eyes suddenly lit up. Rumbling, the stones around him rose up one after another. Big's white aura spurted out, and the stones under him gradually showed cracks. Aha! There was a long groan, followed by a violent breath spurting out. A tornado surrounded Piccolo, lifting him into the air. The rubble around Big swept together and tangled and spiraled upwards. Immediately afterwards, Piccolo stood up in the air, clenched his fists, looked sharply, and fired a Qigong blast forward. Drink! Boom! Wherever Qigong reaches, everything will be wiped out! Exclamation at this moment. Tang En, who was still beside the Great Elder, also murmured in his heart. Yes, after all, Piccolo today has not had any experience on Earth. Tang En glanced at the Great Elder. From the look on the Great Elder's face, it seemed that he was indifferent to this matter, which made Tang En feel a little relieved. What's the matter? Are you going to snatch our Earth's soldiers from me? Tang En said rascally. Just kidding. How can a super Namekian like Piccolo give up as soon as you merge with a god? You will immediately become a super Saiyan. Neil didn't want to mess with him, so he just snorted and stopped talking. No matter what, Piccolo just when Tang En was trying to convince Neru. An expanding breath startled Tang En, causing him to stop speaking subconsciously. Correspondingly, Nelu also discovered this matter. Thighs is its Piccolo. His skills have improved again. Nelu explained. Bic, Tang En said in surprise. But that being said, this is indeed his aura. I didn't expect that he has made such great progress. Tang En held his chin and said slowly. It really surprised him. It has only been 2 years since I arrived on Namek. Judging from the aura just now, Piccolo's strength is already close to. Are you trying to scare me to death? Tang En complained silently. How did he practice? I'm afraid Piccolo is already the strongest Namekian besides Naru. I don't know if Sun Wukong can suppress this guy. This is too open. Tang En couldn't help but suspect that the Great Elder had developed his potential. Thinking of this, Tang En secretly regretted that Sun Wukong had been too easy this year. This teacher is still unqualified. I must pay attention next time. At this time, Piccolo in the distance stretched out his palm and squeezed it tightly. The surging power in his body was constantly impacting his flesh and blood, which was shocking. I don't know why, but during the 2 years on Namek, his practice went very smoothly. And because there is never a shortage of opponents to fight against, Piccolo has a strong desire to become stronger. These various factors caused a huge change in Piccolo's strength. To be honest, even Piccolo didn't realize how strict he was on himself. Tang En touched his nose and felt a little uneasy. He won't shoot me directly later, will he? Piccolo, who had left his practice, came to the Great Elder. There are 3 people among the Great Elders, and there is an aura that I don't recognize. Piccolo's brain subconsciously analyzed the information for him. Then hey, Piccolo, long time no see. Tang En greeted him familiarly. Stunned, but soon Piccolo clenched his fists loudly, trembling all over, and his whole face turned green with anger. Give me death. Piccolo hit Tang En head-on with a sharp hand knife. Die. Stop messing around. Piccolo. Neru took hold of Piccolo's arm and pushed it down. Are you going to do it in front of the Great Elder? Piccolo suppressed his anger and stared directly at Tang En, the cloak behind him trembling slightly. Tang En slapped his face, What were he looking at? Look again and beat that of you! Exclamation. Tang En feels that this kid Piccolo is too rebellious. I kindly give you the principles of life. It doesn't matter if you don't appreciate it. Why did you turn against me and become enemies? Boo! Exclamation. It was a wrong payment after all. Piccolo looked away with difficulty. Originally, he wanted to tell the elder about his progress. But now he doesn't want to say anything. HMPH. Bick turned his back to Tang En. The elder closed his eyes and didn't pay attention to the little fight below. Hey, should I call you Demon Roman too? Or should I call you Piccolo? Tang En said to Piccolo. Piccolo was unmoved. Are you here to seek death? Piccolo asked back. No way, I am the most afraid of death. This time I am here to take you back to Earth. Back to Earth? Piccolo was surprised. He never thought he could go back there again. And after knowing that he was really a Nankian, he gradually tried to adapt himself to this place. Yes, the Earth is your real home, the place where you were born. Tang En began to enter the sensational mode. Piccolo clenched his fists and said loudly: Stop saying such stupid things. Tell me your purpose, and I don't believe that people on Earth will welcome me. Tang En sighed secretly. This kid's consciousness is quite high. But you met me, Mr. Tang, today, so you have to go if you don't want to. Tang En continued to lie. We have never disliked you. After all, you have never done anything harmful. I said, evil will end with your father and you will have nothing more to bear. Because Bick's back was turned to Tang En could not see Bick's expression. Besides, I originally sent you here to let you understand your identity. Now that my goal has been achieved, of course I want to take you back. Piccolo remained silent for a while and said again, I don't need your pity. Go away, for the sake of the great elder. I don't need to pursue the past matters. Damn, Tang En didn't expect this guy to be so tough. He knew he would hit him lightly. You're not going to take revenge on me? Bick squinted at Tang En, always feeling that this man was very hateful. Tang En was choked by this glare and said angrily: That's it, the gods and I will miss you. Piccolo gritted his teeth, almost unable to bear these words. At this time, the great elder finally spoke. Bick. Piccolo's attention immediately focused on the great elder. Big elder. Child, follow Tang En. Your destiny is not on this planet. Piccolo was stunned and couldn't help but ask back, why? After going through all kinds of great changes, Piccolo is very sensitive, especially to those he cherishes. Does the great elder think I shouldn't come to Namek? What silly boy. The great elder's face showed distress. Child, I really hope you can understand this world. The great elder continued: Let down your guard, Piccolo. You are not alone. Piccolo was stunned, silently savoring the great elder's words. Tang En became a spectator and saw the great elder with his own eyes and made Piccolo submissive with just a few words. This made him scratch his head in embarrassment. What about the promise that I have the intimacy of the Nankians? Why is it not reflected in Piccolo at all? Half an hour later, Piccolo suddenly turned around and said coldly, In that case, don't regret it. I will return to Earth, but I will not obey any of your arrangements. When I surpass all of you, I will rule that world again. Ah, this arrogant boy! Exclamation. Tang En was very surprised. Being able to say these words meant that the hatred had completely disappeared. Exclamation. He is still young, and I am afraid that Piccolo's second-grade speech will make him feel ashamed after listening to it. It's a deal, Tang En said. With the help of someone like me, Tang, if you want to be the number one on Earth, go ahead and dream! Exclamation. The great elder regained his composure and didn't say a word. Pico, Neru called. Piccolo turned to look at Neru. Don't kill innocent people indiscriminately. Tang En, Bick. End of this chapter. Chapter 72. Chapter 72. Piccolo agreed to return to Earth. Teleport! Exclamation. Earth. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What the hell is this place? A lot of water! Exclamation. Flight puff! Exclamation. Jump out of the water! What are you doing? Piccolo. I'm a star, you're a star. You ask me? Tang En and Bic floated into the air. It turns out that Tang En teleported directly into the sea just now. Sure enough, if you move too far, you still have to concentrate. This was the first time Tang En made a mistake and fell into Piccolo's hands. I should have known better than to act cool. A mistake. Ha 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 ha. Tang En apologized. Piccolo had a cold face, said nothing, and was about to leave immediately. Where are you going? Tang En asked. None of your business. Bic, you can go to the tournament in a week. Twain had already told Piccolo about the Budokai on Namek. Aren't you afraid that I'll kill someone? Piccolo asked sullenly. Don't be afraid, Tang En said. Oh, then you think someone there will become my opponent? Piccolo said, displeased. Hey, you don't know my current strength, do you? Piccolo knew that Tang En would not participate in this tournament. I know, but we haven't spent the past 2 years in vain. Tang En spoke for everyone. Oh, then I want to see who can be my opponent. Piccolo crossed his arms and flew away from this place. Tang En felt relieved. It was better now. Piccolo would probably never forget him again. Wow, a wave emerged, and a huge whale jumped out of the water and swallowed Tang En into its belly. Wow, this whale is a bit dumb, but fortunately I am in a good mood today. Teleport. In the remaining 7 days, countless martial artists from across the country gathered on the emerging Talman Island. Talman's Island, the venue for the New World's No. Budokai. The media and reporters began to pour into this area one after another. The results of many years of martial arts preparation are finally coming to light. This time, the Martial Arts Conference not only brought together all the powerful people in the world, but also truly attracted the attention of the world. In these two aspects, it can be said to be a big leap forward. Sun Wukong and others left the temple a week before the start of the competition, all for the purpose of restoring their bodies to their best condition. But now that each of them has mastered the Wukong technique, there is no need to worry about traffic problems at all. Wukong will definitely be no. 1. It's really frustrating. Krillin curled his lips in private, convincing himself that if he met Goku, he would not lose too badly. Several people have practiced together in the temple to some extent, and they have a good understanding of each other's strength. Please note, journalists are not allowed to enter and interfere with the contestants' preliminary rounds. An administrator came out to maintain order. Today is the preliminary round of the Martial Arts Association, and the venue has become surprisingly lively. After multiple rounds of screening, a total of 1,082 contestants participated in this Budo tournament. Sun Wukong and others have achieved good results in previous competitions, so they can directly participate in the preliminary rounds. The rules have changed so much. Have they become so strict in the preliminary rounds? Plin said anxiously. Unexpectedly, these players have already competed once before. It's not that Clin is afraid of others, it's just that he feels that the unfamiliar venue makes him uncomfortable. I feel the same way. Dumpling nodded. Contestants, please show your admission tickets and verify your identity before entering. Those who perform well in this competition will be invited to join the Guardian League. There will be a chance to receive guidance from the god of martial arts. Invited reporters from the government can enter directly through the south gate and make no noise. Take a right turn anyway, it's just all kinds of propaganda. It's really nerve-wracking. Where can we get these documents? Sun Wukong scratched his head and said to Clin, Everyone, you look at me, I look at you, confused. Due to the regulations of the competition, Gixianren, Lan Kai, and others were unable to come to the venue to watch. Now only people like Sun Wukong, Tianjin Fan, and Rem are left who have muscles in their minds. Wukong, Krillin, everyone, I found it. Wulong ran over and said to everyone, that guy Tang En has prepared tickets for everyone, we can enter now. Really? That's great. Thank you, Wulong. Immediately afterwards, Sun Wukong, Kling Maslow, and other 6 people lined up to enter the arena following Oolong. Oolong, can you enter even if you haven't participated in the competition? Sun Wukong asked curiously. What? That kid Tang En can do this kind of thing easily. Wow, that's awesome, Sun Wukong exclaimed. Even so, everyone was not very interested. Even Maslow, who always talked a lot, was a little uncomfortable with the various cameras facing him. Clack clack, sir. May I ask how you went about your training? After passing the national selection process, you entered the martial arts competition. What do you think? Excuse me. Many reporters keep asking questions when they are caught. This kind of scene can be seen almost everywhere. Suddenly, Maslow felt that this really seemed like an insult to his own practice. And this feeling was especially noticeable when Maslow saw people who really used some tricks to dazzle in front of the camera. Shouldn't the purpose of our practice be just to improve ourselves? Fortunately, after entering the martial arts hall, the reporters outside were stopped. Only a very small number of reporters have been approved by the government to come in, which gives Sun Wukong and others some relief. Kamaisenhaus Kamesonin. The competition is about to begin! I saw Wukong! There is also Tianjin Rice, and Klin is there too. Lan Kai said to the turtle immortal. Kame Senin moved the newspaper away from his head and glanced at the screen. It was just a glance. Then he continued to sleep soundly, muttering in his mouth, "The champion must be Goku and the others. This kind of competition is completely meaningless." Really? I think Tianjin Rice may also win the championship, Lan Kai said cautiously. Lan Kai waited for a long time but did not see a response from the turtle immortal. Okay. Lan Kai turned around and looked very snoring till to fall asleep. Lan Kai saw Turtle Immortal asleep, so she gently covered him with a quilt. Then he put his chin in his hands and stared at the screen seriously. Indeed, for real martial artists, this kind of competition full of interests will really make them uncomfortable. But who can tell what is right and wrong? Perhaps this is the tragedy of martial arts. People who practice martial arts become chasing fame and fortune. Or maybe the older generation of martial arts masters are really getting old. Is it really a new era? Tang En didn't know, and he couldn't control everyone's hearts. Right or wrong, only the future can tell us the answer. End of this chapter. Chapter 73. Chapter 73. Wow, this martial arts society seems to have completely changed, Bulma said to Tang En. Tang En nodded. That's right. Both of them are on the top floor of the martial arts venue, with very convenient views and easy access. Tang En must have a clearer understanding of various situations in the Martial Arts Association. However, compared to others, Tang En may be more accepting of this. Anyway, it is something that must be changed. As for reforms, it is normal for problems to arise. We will continue to improve after that, but we cannot deny the current situation all at once. Wukong and the others are probably going to have a hard time. I don't think they are the ones who can become stars, Bulma complained. There's nothing we can do about it. This is what they asked for. Tang En shrugged. They have been in the temple all the time. How do they know what is happening in the martial arts in the lower world? You're so bad, you didn't even tell them. Tang En laughed out loud. Why Tang En is not sure either. Tang En seriously searched for the answer in his mind. Perhaps he just wanted Wukong to not have to work in the field. Something like this is a bit sad. Even though none of them felt it was very hard. Forget it, I guess they won't participate in martial arts conferences anymore. Tang En took Bulma's hand and continued. After this battle, they must be very aware of the gap between themselves and ordinary people on Earth. For a long time, there should be no Earthlings who can reach their level, huh? Tang En calmed down. A familiar breath appeared in his perception. This is Piccolo, and here he is. Bulma, take you to meet a friend, Tang En said. Okay. Bulma followed Tang En. At this time, Piccolo has an extra white headband and its appearance is the same as in the original work. There is no way the appearance of Demon King Piccolo is already known to everyone on Earth. Even the arrogant Piccolo can only do this in order to avoid trouble. Brother, Dawn. Tang En turned around and it turned out that Sun Wukong and others were coming. Everyone, long time no see. Everyone came over. Clin nudged Tang En with his elbow. What nonsense are you talking about? We only met a week ago. Ha 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 ha. Tang En laughed. Isn't it Wukong, eh? Wukong. Krillin looked at Wukong, but he could only raise his head and ask. At this moment, Wukong seemed to have seen his prey, staring at him calmly. Tang En smacked his lips and noticed the other party so quickly. Sun Wukong and Piccolo looked at each other. At this moment, Wukong suddenly felt a reassuring feeling. His eyes became firm, and his tall and straight figure became a bit more stern. Tang En nodded, as expected. Ah ha ha, I'm sorry, I was distracted just now. Sun Wukong scratched his head and showed a fool-like smile. Tang En, MMP, you are playing with me. At this moment, Tang En was preparing to introduce Piccolo to everyone, but Piccolo flicked his cloak and left here without looking back. Is this the person you said can be my opponent? Tang En, you sometimes make mistakes. Just let me prove how stupid you are. This made Tang En stop what he wanted to say before he could speak, and there was no place to put his raised arm in an instant. Ah, this is Twain. Is that your friend? He has a really bad character. Bulma said to Tang En. That's right, it looks like a rude person. Oolong echoed from the side. Lord Oolong finally understood that as long as he followed Tang En and Bulma, he would always see beautiful young ladies. Long live Lord Bulma! Wukong, do you know him too? Krillin asked. No, I just feel that he is very strong. I really want to fight him. Wukong said sheepishly. Clin smiled, thinking you should stop joking. If Tang En doesn't participate in the competition, how can anyone beat you? Clin thought immediately. He is the son of the great Demon King Piccolo. Tianjin Fan said. Oh, it turns out that what? What? Everyone looked at Tianjin Fan. Tianjin. Dumpling shouted. Tianjin Fan became serious and said again, it's unmistakable. He looks exactly like the big devil Piccolo that Tang En defeated. Tianjin Rice is also full of fighting spirit. It's been 3 years, and I'm finally going to fight you again. I will never lose to you again this time. Everyone looked at Tang En, ready to ask for confirmation. Yes, but the situation is very complicated. Anyway, Piccolo is not a bad person. That's it. Maslow scratched his head and accepted it reluctantly. After all, he is the legendary Demon King, even if everyone has already surpassed them in strength. However, because there is no reference, I still can't help but feel apprehensive. Clin couldn't help but take a step back and cursed in his heart. The Tang En in front of me is not controlled by the devil. It's so scary. How can he speak for such a devil? Wukong was indifferent and even excited. Yeah, I will definitely defeat him, Sun Wukong said with certainty. Tang En smiled bitterly and explained his views to everyone again. In the distance, Piccolo, who was shielding his aura, turned sideways and hid behind a wall. Nank's excellent hearing came into play. Humph. Why would I care what that guy thinks? Piccolo struggled internally and continued to stay away from this place. Goku? A sweet voice sounded. Everyone was dumbfounded. Who is this beauty? Who are you? Sun Wukong couldn't help but ask. Next crackling, blah blah blah. Anyway, the girl was very angry and hit Sun Wukong hard. Humph. Turn around and leave, neatly. The confused Wukong and everyone were left behind. Ah. So, who is that? Krillin couldn't help tears in his eyes, grabbed Goku's chest and shook him. This scene! Absolutely amazing. Those who know that this is dissatisfaction with the behavior of the gay friend who seems to be out of the order, and those who don't know think it is the little daughter-in-law who got angry after her husband cheated! Why are you practicing together and you know a cute girlie don't know? It's so weird. Wukong recalled it carefully, as if he really had no impression. Of course, Wukong's memory is reserved for eating and practicing. Soon, as time passed, more and more martial artists entered the scene. Mr. Tang En, are you really as strong as you are on TV? Please tell me how to, Mr. Tianjin Fan. I heard that you saved His Majesty the King and General Pierce. How did you, Mr. Wem? It is said that Jian Liu has become equal to Gixian Liu. A few approved reporters and media came over and carefully asked everyone. Among them, Tang En and Tianjin were the ones looking for food the most, because both of them had contributed to previous crises. After that came Maslow and Rem. After all, they both had their own circles, and even now they still bear the title of being top-notch. The two of them have also become the top leaders of this school, leading a large number of martial arts masters. It counts as a successful career. Even Sun Wukong, a martial arts idiot who practices all day long, has a cute girl looking for him. Tang En answered a few simple questions and then turned away from the media. After all, they were still chatting. Colin, are you feeling uncomfortable somewhere? Sun Wukong asked Clin kindly. Clin's mouth was closed into a wavy line, shaking slightly. Clin, today is May 5. Children's shoes with a girlfriend. Remember to do something at 2014 noon ~. End of this chapter. Chapter 74. Chapter 74. Half an hour later, Tang En and Bulma came to the glass room on the top floor. Not only can you see all the arenas below, but no one can disturb them. People below can't see what's going on inside through the glass. I've always felt that there should be a speaker here so we can cheer for Goku and the others. Tang En said. Then you might as well go down there and cheer them on. Oolong ran to the refrigerator and got a glass of juice, inserted a straw into it and drank while talking. In that case, I wouldn't be able to experience such a handsome screen. Oolong, give me a cup too. 3 grams of oil. Twain reminded. You are really getting worse and worse. Oolong reluctantly walked over. There is no such warm and considerate person in the world as I, Mr. Oolong. Then, Oolong handed Tang En and Bulma a cup each. Thank you. Outside the field at this moment, Sun Wukong and others also adjusted their status. But in fact, for them, they can kill other people even with their eyes closed. It is worth mentioning that the original rules for determining the top 8 in the preliminary round have been changed to the top. It is entirely because there are too many people participating in the competition that the pass rate of the preliminaries has been doubled. I announce the No. 23rd World No. Martial Arts Tournament begins now. Start drawing lots now. The team was divided into 10 columns, and then preparations were completed at a speed visible to the naked eye. I am number 0119, Wukong, where is yours? Krillin immediately asked Goku. Wow, what a huge number. Wukong exclaimed. No, 0889, this is Wukong's number. It's okay. There's such a big difference, I probably won't meet you again. Clin patted his chest. Wukong, your competition is in the afternoon. Dumpling flew over and said to Monkey King. Does the first game have to take so long? If this is the case, I'm so hungry. Sun Wukong scratched his head in embarrassment. Immediately afterwards, Tianjin Fan, Maslow, Rem and others also finished drawing lots. As more people passed the preliminaries, everyone was separated even if the dumplings were not tampered with. Then Tianjin Rice appeared first. I really have foresight. It would be too stupid to wait all day in the martial arts gym below. Seriously, Bulma reminded Tang En. 4-3. I'm sorry. Then 2 small ones. I win. Bulma cheered. You cheat. Why don't you lose every time? It's too much. Oolong started to miss Kabaki. Stop talking nonsense. Just accept your punishment. Oolong reluctantly put another piece of paper on his face. But it doesn't matter anymore. After all, the oolongs are all over his face. Knock knock, please come in, Tang En said. At this time, a broadcast sounded outside the venue. Tianjin fan player no. 0064, 6 wins and 0 losses. Advance to the top 16. Wow, I passed the competition in half an hour. Bulma sighed in admiration. What are you playing? Tong Li walked in and saw everyone having fun, so she couldn't help but ask. It was she who came. King of Fight. Wulong shook his head and cleared away all the small notes. I, Wulong-sama, don't want to play anymore. I'm going to cheer for Klin and the others. What? What a coward. Bulma said dissatisfied. King Du? What a strange name. Tong Li knelt down beside everyone and said curiously. Of course, I got the name, Tang En said shamelessly. It's really disrespectful to the king. Even so, Tong Li didn't mean to be unhappy. She just closed her eyes and said with a smile. So, what's the matter? Tang En asked. After all, every time Tong Li came to see him, it was usually because of something. Yes, there is a character who is very difficult to mess with among the contestants. Tang En stood up and asked curiously, who is it? Of course, Sir Tang En can even defeat the big demon king, so dealing with him is no problem. However, he was once the best killer in the world, and he once helped the Red Ribbon Army. I feel that he still needs to pay attention to him. Tang En knew this description. Is Tao Bei the best killer in the world? Tang En asked. Yes, Sir Tang En really knows. I wonder if you can tell me about his specific strength. It also helps us take precautions. Tao Bei, I heard Dr. Gallo mention it some time ago. After being seriously injured by Sun Wukong, he pathetically crawled to Dr. Gallo. With his help, he became a cyborg. Miserable old exclamation. Tao Bei is indeed a very powerful martial artist. You'd better not fight him head-on, otherwise many people will die in vain. Moreover, now that he has been transformed into a semi-mechanical state, ordinary prisons cannot hold him. Tong Li was also a little discouraged when she heard Tang En say this. I hope such a powerful hero can appear in the Special Forces team as soon as possible. Tong Li said, need my help? For Tang En, this was a piece of cake. Thank you so much. Well, see for yourself. First off the field, an unexpected scene. The original dumpling has become stronger. Traitor. Die. Tao Bei, who was shaking all over, was almost crazy when my peach is white the best killer in the world unable to defeat his own disciple. And he's still that stupid little guy who only follows Tianjin fans. Tao Bei unlocks the mechanism on his arm and is about to fire on the dumplings! Dumplings. Tianjin fan shouted. Tianjin. Dumpling was very embarrassed. He still didn't want to hurt this former master uncle, and was even a little afraid of him. Although today's dumplings are better than Tao Bei. I'm going to kill you all, Tao Bei yelled. Soon, everyone knew what was going on here. Contestant Tao Bei. It is forbidden to use weapons in the competition. You have been eliminated. The referee said. I announce. The dumpling contestants have 6 wins and 0 losses and have entered the top 16. Tao Bei turned a deaf ear and looked very ferocious. Tianjin fan. What should I do? Dumpling took a few steps back and asked Tianjin fan. Tianjin fan clenched his fist tightly and looked at Tao Bei, who was in a state of madness. Then Jiaozi. I won't allow you to hurt yourself. Tianjin fan roared. Yes, Tianjin. Dumpling shuddered, then immediately calmed down and began to cheer up. This situation was reflected on the screen in Tang En's room through the camera. Dumpling won't be hurt, Bulma said worriedly. After all, no matter how you look at it, Jiaozi doesn't seem like he can defeat such a terrifying guy, the #1 killer in the world. Do not worry, Tang En said that after all, judging from the smell, the dumplings were already a level beyond Tao Bei. In this case, it seems you don't need my help anymore. Tang En noticed what was happening below and said to Tong Lia. Well, Tong Lia covered her mouth slightly. So, has the original little man surpassed the terrifying Tao Bebe? These people are really awesome. Yes, after practicing in the temple, the Z warriors are much stronger than the original track! Hot tilde super. Didongbo. Tao Beibai roared, and the muzzle in his arm showed a warm light. Buzz! Boom! Kigong is emitted from the muzzle! Yeah. As soon as Dumpling closed his eyes, he fully activated his superpower to block the trajectory of the super whole wave. Give me death. Boom! There was a strong explosion, and dense cracks appeared on the entire surface of the arena! The attention of the entire venue was attracted. Did you encounter this kind of monster in the first round? A burly man with a snot nose took 2 steps back and actually cried. Mom, I'm going home. That's a dumpling competition. Maslow said. Is the enemy very difficult? Rem asked worriedly. Since everyone currently only has Tianjin rice to finish the game, they are by Dumpling's side. And other people are now running there quickly. The smoke dissipated. Dumpling patted his clothes, not sure why. He didn't feel hurt at all just now. Everyone looked across. Shock. The original Tao Beibai was covered in blood again, and one of his arms was blown to pieces! At this moment, he has fallen into the deep pit on the ring. It seems that he has taken in more air and lost less air. Did the super whole wave bounce back instantly? Tianjin rice was quickly analyzed. I'm sorry, Master Tao Beibai. Tianjin Fan looked ugly, but he still made a decision. Sure enough, gay friends are still important. End of this chapter. Chapter 75. Chapter 75. Player Maslow. Advance to the top 16. Player Rem advances. Krillin player Monkey King. Advance to the top 16. After a whole day of screening, each major arena selected their respective contestants. Wukong, that person has indeed advanced. Krillin glanced at Piccolo, who had his back turned to everyone, and said to Sun Wukong. Well, yes. Also, do you really not know the girl who doesn't want to reveal her name? Hey, I have no impression at all. Monkey King scratched his scalp, but couldn't figure it out. At the end of the preliminaries, everyone took a rest to conserve energy for the next day's competition. Mr. Tang En, the results of the competition are out. Here is the promotion list. That night, the staff brought over a list. As the major shareholder of the world's Martial Arts Association, Tang En said that the people below are really sensible. Speaking of which, it is inevitable to mention it. Since Tang En is recognized as the god of new martial arts, the world's Martial Arts Association once invited Tang En to serve as its director. Tang En found it very interesting. As chairman, this is an experience he has never had before. Of course, when it comes to money, we still have to rely on Bulma. As the world's richest man, Bulma said it was just drizzle. This operation of showing off wealth immediately made Tang En call him an expert. So Tang En made a big move and became a major shareholder on par with the Earth government. Not to mention, the response this time is really different from the past. Maybe you can still make a lot of money. Of course, money really doesn't matter in the Dragon Ball world. Strength is king. This arrangement, let them be assigned together. Remember, don't assign the guy with the same name as the big devil to Sun Wukong in advance. Tang En covered the staff's ears with his hands and quietly set the order of the competition. The staff wiped their sweat. How could the contestants be appointed unofficially in public? The suit staff turned to look at Tong Lia with a questioning look in their eyes. What Mr. Tang En means is what I mean. Tong Lia smiled. Just kidding. As a government representative, he certainly didn't want to offend Tang En for such a trivial matter. This person can change the world on his own. Okay, I see. The man in the suit took out a handkerchief to wipe his sweat, and then responded quickly. Oh, I am such an evil capitalist. After the man in the suit left the room, Tang En began to sigh with emotion. Bulma was so amused by Tang En that she couldn't help laughing. That's good. Wukong and the others won't encounter them in advance. Why didn't I think of such a method before? Bulma seemed to have opened a door. I hate rich people the most, Oolong said scornfully. Then let's go back. After a night's rest, the next game should be interesting. Tang En stood up and said to everyone. Second day as usual, the top 16 match was moved outdoors. This prevents powerful martial artists from damaging expensive interior decorations. After Tang En's approval, the original dedicated host with brown hair and black suit also holds this position. So shady voting began on the field. In fact, using Dumpling or Tang En's superpowers can definitely achieve this effect. But it doesn't matter, Tang En just thinks it's interesting to do what he does. Besides, it just disrupted the order to prevent powerful people from meeting in advance. Tang En, you're here. Sun Wukong greeted Tang En. Hi brother. This is Maslow. Bulma-san, thank you for coming to cheer for us. Klin said gratefully. The martial arts club outside the venue still maintains its original appearance as the best martial arts club in the world. The only difference is that the scope is larger, although the arena remains the same. Well, everyone has improved so much, it's amazing. Tang En said. At this moment, Krillin Goku has changed into the martial arts uniform of Kame Sunryu, and Tianjin Fan, Rem Maslow and others are also in high spirits. It really feels like a new look. Come on, everyone, Oolong shouted. Soon, their respective opponents were selected on the field. Tang En and Bulma stood together with everyone and watched the game on the field. The first game is Piccolo. His appearance completely attracted the attention of Sun Wukong and others. Let me see the results of your practice. Tianjin Fan secretly clenched his fists. He has gone through very hard training to reach where he is today. At this moment, Tianjin Fan thinks that he is already very powerful. If he were allowed to go back in time, Tianjin Fan guarantees that he would be able to easily defeat the original Demon King Piccolo. The person who fought against Piccolo was a middle-aged man with a strong body. Tang En just stared at him without any impression. Although his strength is already considered very strong among ordinary people, especially when people on Earth are generally enhanced. However, the breath is still too weak, with a combat power of less than 50 at most. Sure enough, it was just one round. The middle-aged man fell to the ground directly, no different from the person who met Piccolo in the preliminaries. Contestant Juji passed out. Contestant Piccolo won. Big turned around and left, passing by where Tang En and his group were. Piccolo stopped. The reason was that Tang En held him back. What are you doing? Piccolo said angrily. Forget it, you have such a droopy face, let's go. Tang En originally wanted to chat with Big. Piccolo flicked his cloak and left here coldly. Secondary 2. Hey Wayne, how do you know this guy? Klin asked very curiously. After all, the man in front of him is the real candidate to kill the great demon King Piccolo. While Tang En was puzzled. Eh? Didn't God tell you? What? Krillin asked next. Ah, that's it, that's nothing. After that, Tang En turned to look at Tianjin Fan and found that he also had questions. It shouldn't be, haven't they seen the gods? This is ridiculous! Don't you guys feel that Piccolo looks a lot like a god? Tang En asked. Ah, what does this mean? What? Is there one? But we have never seen the big devil Piccolo. Maslow said. Well, if you put it that way, I've always felt that Piccolo's aura is very familiar. Sun Wukong responded. Dun nodded. It seems that Sun Wukong and the god have been together for a relatively long time. Although there is a huge gap in strength between the god and Piccolo, they can still be identified by their aura. Tang En finally understood that except for Tianjin Fan, no one else had ever seen the big devil Piccolo. But Tianjin fans have never seen the gods. Tianjin fan and dumplings were only trained by Bobo. After learning the breath, they followed Bobo's introduction and left the temple to find Tang En. This is so amazing. What's even more amazing is, are Wukong and others so stupid at recognizing people? Piccolo just wore a hat and different clothes, and he looked younger. Can the same makeup be hidden from you? This is too dramatic. Oh no! Exclamation! It's become a cartoon. It reminded him of some plots in his previous life where women disguised themselves as men. That's fine. The reason why God didn't take the initiative to tell them is probably because he was afraid that they wouldn't be able to take action. Tang En secretly guessed. Then tell them after the game. If you tell them now that if you kill Piccolo, the god will die, it will probably have some impact. Especially Wukong. After all, based on his current basic strength, Wukong is still not as good as Piccolo. If you have any means, just let Sun Wukong use it. Having said this, Tang En glanced at Sun Wukong again. Sharp exclamation! It was much stronger than it was a week ago. Although there was no change in Sun Wukong's breath, Tang En still noticed it. He was looking forward to the match between Sun Wukong and Piccolo. Maybe he could actually win. PS. Today I caught my roommate using pirated copies of my books and then complained about me. I really want to kill him. End of this chapter. Chapter 76. Chapter 76. After Piccolo, Sun Wukong and others also fought with their opponents one after another. Of course, there was no doubt about the outcome. Soon, the first round of the top ended. The final top 8 are Big Tianjin rice dumplings, Sun Wukong Maslow Clinram Kiki unnamed. Well, that was completely expected. HMPH. It's just like playing house. Piccolo snorted and said arrogantly. In Piccolo's view, everyone's strength can be seen at a glance, so why bother lining up here? Exclamation! Looking down at the group of people gathering together to eat, chat and spank, Piccolo snorted and turned away. The next game has also been decided. The first game, Rem vs. Dumpling. In the second game, Tianjin Fan vs. Maslow. In the third game, Piccolo vs. Krill. In the fourth game, Sun Wukong vs. Kiki. Currently, Don and Bulma and others are having dinner together. Tianjin Rice, I won't be merciful later, Maslow said to Tianjin Rice. Me too. The two were originally at odds with each other, but they didn't get to know each other without fighting, and now they have settled their differences. If you don't practice hard, I'll let Tianjin Fan beat you up later, Tang En said without mercy. No way. Maslow was quite unconvinced. I'm obviously studying hard. HMPH, do you dare to bet me? If you lose, you won't eat pudding like this for 3 months. Tang En couldn't help but said. The little brat didn't know how to respect his seniors, so he ate all the big pudding on the table by himself. Ahahaha, how can that be done? Maslow immediately realized his mistake and said embarrassedly. The first game. It's officially started. After eating and drinking, the official competition is about to begin. In fact, what Piccolo thought did not make sense. Tang En knew clearly the strength of everyone present. For example, in this scene, Rem is obviously much better than Dumpling. The outcome is almost decided. But Tang En is still willing to cheer for these two people. Come on, Dumpling. And senior brother Rem. Come on. Superpowers are not omnipotent. It can even be said that the stronger the strength, the stricter the requirements for superpowers. Especially those with controlling superpowers like Dumpling. In the early stage, you can kill others to death, but as the enemy's strength becomes higher, the fault tolerance rate becomes lower. If you are not careful, or if you make a mistake, someone will get close to you very quickly and you will be caught off guard. It really goes with that sentence, I can make mistakes countless times, but you can't make one mistake. Sure enough, the dumplings failed and there was nothing to say. What a pity. Tang En smacked his lips. In fact, it is not a pity at all. Winner, contestant Rem. Senior brother Rem is so strong, Maslow boasted. It's up to you. Rem said to Maslow. Yeah. Maslow nodded heavily. The second game, Maslow vs. Tianjin Fan. Come on Tianjin Rice. Dumpling shouted. As for Dumplings, he doesn't care whether he wins or loses. Soon, Tianjin Fan and Maslow jumped into the arena. Bring it on. Through the media, the whole world is paying attention to this battle! Somewhere far away. Chew. Hey, Tianjin Rice. Get rid of that brat quickly. Do you hear me? Inside the turtle fairy house after the sleeping Kame Senin was awakened, he quickly hid under the table and held his head in his hands. Len Kai, calm down. You can't hear me calling Tianjin Rice like that. Stop talking nonsense. You stinky old turtle. Boom! The table was kicked away. Kame Senin successfully became the target of Lan Kai's venting and was shot with all his might by machine guns. Oops! Kame Senrin was beaten and dodged left and right. Now he was no longer sleepy at all, and he quickly escaped from Kame Sen's house. It's too scary. Kame Senin touched the skin that was hit by the machine gun. It hurt too much. On the other hand, Tianjin Fan did have a back and forth with Maslow! Tang En nodded. The current strength shown by Tianjin Fan is comparable to that of Maslow. But the truth is not as simple as it seems. Flying, after images, fierce battles in the air, Qigong waves, one after another. Immediately afterwards, the two sides had a wrestling match. As soon as this round passed, the gap became obvious. Tianjin Fan's face is not red and he is out of breath, but Maslow has begun to consume his energy. Tang En nodded. Tianjin Fan's strength was at least over 1,800. You really can't underestimate these original masters! With just a little effort, I have made such great progress. My will to martial arts is really unwavering. Tang En believed that he needed to learn from Tianjin Fan's. Hey, he's so strong. Tianjin Fan has made a lot of progress. Sun Wukong admired from the side. Hee, I didn't expect that Maslow guy is so fast. I can hardly see clearly. Krillin wrapped his arms around his chest and said. 2/4 of an hour later, the winner was decided. In fact, the competition between the two of them was more like a sparring match, and they were always serious fights. There were no major lethal attacks. Tianjin Fan seized the opportunity and hit Maslow with a violent headbutt! Tianjin Fan contestant wins. Tianjin Fan pulled Maslow up and the two looked at each other and smiled. Next, the two walked back to the arena. It's okay, you've made so much progress. I take back what you said, you didn't work hard. Tang En and Maslow bumped fists. Thank you, senior brother. Maslow was praised by Tang En, and a trace of depression in his heart disappeared. Although Tang En is no longer employed at Tianyi Martial Arts Hall, Maslow still likes to call him senior brother. The third game, Player Krillin vs. Player Piccolo. Come on, Klin. Give that weirdo a good look. Bulma cheered Klin up. Okay. Klin walked onto the stage anxiously. Why do I have to meet such a ruthless character as Piccolo? I'm so unlucky. Piccolo flew towards the ring with a wave of arrogant dance skills. Shoot, if you let me do it, you will have no chance, Piccolo said coldly. Helen pursed his lips, then stood up. Klin, believe in yourself, you are no longer what you were before. Helen cheered himself up secretly. Come on, Klin, Sun Wukong shouted loudly. I will. Krillin responded slightly, then looked directly into Piccolo's eyes. Aha! Sudden exclamation! Krillin flew out and attacked Piccolo! Tong Lia stared at the battle on the field seriously. She already knew that Piccolo was the original Big Demon King Piccolo. How's it going? Tong Lia asked Bloom. No problem, Piccolo's name has been changed, so it shouldn't cause panic. Tong Lia grabbed the railing and nodded. However, she really didn't understand why Tang En, who killed Big's father, ended up becoming Big's friend. That's all it takes. boom exclamation at this moment. The two people were testing each other on the field. Now, Krillin has fought dozens of rounds with Piccolo, regardless of the outcome. Piccolo has given up, he's a stubborn duck, Tang En secretly muttered. Go to me. Piccolo caught Klin's fists with a grapple, and then threw him out of the field exclamation what? Klin couldn't free his wrist for a moment, and could only let Piccolo throw him out quickly. Peng exclamation Klin rolled 2 or 3 times in the air to prop up his body again. At this moment his back was turned to Piccolo as if he was brewing something. Piccolo deadbend. Suddenly, Klin turned around, and a round air ball appeared on his hand exclamation take it exclamation Kai Yuan slash. Brush exclamation Kai Yuan Jan rushes straight towards Piccolo. Krillin's new move is finally born exclamation however it was of no use. Piccolo was stunned in the ring, apparently unaware that Klin was hiding this move. Unexpectedly, Piccolo really felt a sense of crisis from this attack dodge. Piccolo turned his head, and the Kai Yuan slash swiped past his ear laugh exclamation this move sank into the ground and penetrated the ring like cutting tofu. Cut. Piccolo's face was slightly green. This move was a little bit sharper than he thought. Then, Piccolo disappeared from the ring in a flash. Not gone. Klin in the sky had not yet gotten over the sense of loss from missing a single hit, and then he was forced to cheer up and search for Piccolo's location. It's a pity. Tang En tapped his arm, and Kellen was about to lose. Snapped exclamation Piccolo suddenly appeared, followed by a side kick, knocking Krillin away. Boom Kling flew out of the field and knocked down a wall. A winner. Piccolo player. Klin covered his arms and stood up from the ruins, looking very depressed. This is too big a gap. As mentioned earlier, Lin will have a good result. End of this chapter. Chapter 77 Monkey King gets married. Chapter 77 Monkey King gets married. That guy Piccolo is really powerful. Maslow clenched his fists. He didn't know how Klin failed just now. Yeah. Tianjin fan looked at Piccolo, who had left the stage, and clenched his fist tightly. With superhuman vision and good strength, Tianjin fan boasted that he could dodge Piccolo's blow just now. Then, Tang En patted Sun Wukong on the shoulder and said to him, Go, Wukong, your opponent is already waiting for you. Okay. Wukong said. To be honest, he didn't want to fight this woman at all. Not only because she is weak, but also because the woman staring at him made Sun Wukong very uncomfortable. She seems to be blaming herself again. We must win. Dumpling flew over and said to Sun Wukong. Of course it is. Sun Wukong smiled brightly, and then walked onto the ring wearing a handsome samurai martial arts uniform. A smile appeared on Tang En's lips, standing next to Bulma, Kai and Wukong, the two of them for them. Tang En would not think that Kiki was not worthy of Wukong, or that Wukong was not worthy of Kiki. This idea would be too naive. In the original work, although Kai curbed Gohen's development, she, an ordinary person, took care of a group of monster-like husbands and sons. Moreover, during most of her youth, her husband was either dead or going to practice. Who cannot complain about this? After all, it is oneself who is sacrificed. Although Sun Wukong has saved the earth many times and is very great, he has never shown any conscious care for Kiki. As a husband, this is completely unqualified. But having said that, there is no need for outsiders to interfere in the lives of two people, because no one is qualified to judge whether others are living well or not. Even if it's Tang En, he doesn't want to mess around here or dictate their future life. There is no right or wrong between the two people. What was wrong was that no one in the martial arts world cared about them. I'm just tired. Wukong. Klin's cheering sound woke up Tang En, who was in a daze on the ring. Unforgivable. Kiki pursed her lips tightly. Sun Wukong blinked his innocent eyes. It was obvious that Kiki was still very angry at this time. The promised fiancé doesn't know him, which would make everyone angry. Sun Wukong. I will never forgive you. Sun Wukong was so stunned. I still don't understand. Did you mistake me for someone else? Sun Wukong asked, pointing his finger at his nose. It can't be wrong. You are Sun Wukong, right? Well, Sun Wukong didn't speak. Game start. As soon as the host finished speaking, Kiki immediately rushed towards Sun Wukong exclamation. Kiki was already much stronger than ordinary people when she was a child, and now she has some strength, but it is undoubtedly not on the same level as Wukong at this time. Drink, drink. Kiki's continuous kicks were all dodged by Sun Wukong. Hey, have I really met you? Sun Wukong did not forget to ask carefully while dodging. Unless this matter is clarified, Sun Wukong is really not in the mood to fight with this girl. Kiki was of course even more angry when she heard this. She did not answer Sun Wukong at the moment, but just attacked Sun Wukong blindly. Sun Wukong jumped far away. Really? 1. Kiki ran over suddenly. It's because you forgot everything. That's why I'm angry. Wow, Sun Wukong wiped a cold sweat. People Kiki kicked hard again. But I've been waiting for you. Tilda. Plin, who had a bandage on his shoulder, slapped his palm exclamation damn it. That guy Wukong really knows that girl. When Sun Wukong saw that the other party finally spoke, he quickly continued to ask, please be special, please be special. Wait for me. Why are you waiting for me? Did you really forget the promise? Promise? Do you mean you and me? Of course. Snapped Sun Wukong caught Kiki's kick. Your kung fu is very similar to that of Gessen Ryu, but I really can't remember when I saw you. Sun Wukong put down Kiki's ankle and said blankly: what exactly did I agree with you? You said you can't remember it anyway, can you? Kiki lowered her head to suppress her anger. Okay, I'll tell you. You once promised me that when I grow up you want to marry me as your bride. Exclamation! Maslorum and others outside the court were extremely surprised. And Callan was going to crush his teeth to pieces! What's going on, Goku? Well, Sun Wukong was a little surprised by everyone's reaction. It seems you finally remembered, Kiki said lightly. Cough, cough. Sun Wukong took half a step back, put his palm to his mouth and said, Hey, Tang En, what is the bride? Tell me quickly. This silenced everyone for a whole year. Be Bagayolo. Taking her as a bride means that you two are getting married. Plin couldn't help shouting. Wukong, you shouldn't have done anything. Sorry for me, right? I really misjudged you. Bulma pointed at Sun Wukong and shouted. Besides, we have to live together from now on. You brat, when did you get engaged to such a cute girl? It's so despicable. I don't even know. Colin is extremely jealous. Sun Wukong turned his head and looked at Kiki. Together to live together. With you? Sun Wukong's body suddenly became half shorter, and his mouth turned into a did I promise you such a thing? Who are you? Tell me quickly. Sun Wukong is obviously more anxious. There's really no way. Kiki seemed to understand that Sun Wukong had really forgotten. Then I'll tell you, but you have to beat me first. So really? Great. Immediately, Sun Wukong straightened up. I thought I was going to live with a girl whose name I don't know. It turns out you are willing to say your name. HMPH. You sound like you are sure to win, right? You're too naive, Kiki said. Sun Wukong clenched his fists. Yo Zai, I will definitely beat you! Then I'm going to attack you. If you can attack me, just do it, Kiki responded. Okay, Sun Wukong took a breath. Call tilde what! Then Sun Wukong made a simple punch, and then his fist swept towards Kiki with a fierce wind of punches. Boom! The fierce wind directly hit Kiki's body. Kiki, who had no time to dodge, was directly knocked out of the field by this attack! Off the court. The Monkey King wins. The brown-haired referee couldn't understand this operation. Then Sun Wukong half-crouched on the edge of the ring and asked Kiki in the audience. Now can you tell me who you are? I really can't remember, it hurts. Kiki held her head for a while before standing up and confessing her identity to Sun Wukong. Kiki, the daughter of the Bull Demon King. Then that agreement? Kiki is also very worried now. Tilde the surprised Sun Wukong scratched his head. He didn't expect that the original Kiki had grown so big. Yeah, it's really troublesome. I always thought the bride was delicious. Kiki lowered her head. Is that so? Well, it doesn't matter. Since I promised you, let's get married, Sun Wukong said frankly. End of this chapter. Chapter 78 Top 4 Battle, Tianjin Fan and Amp #039's Potential. Chapter 78 The Semifinals Battle, the potential of Tianjin Rice. The marriage situation of Wukong and Kiki caused quite a commotion in the martial arts club. After that, half a day passed. The players were given ample rest time after the quarterfinals. Half a day passed and it was finally the next round of the semifinals! Come on. I'm just tired. Tianjin Fan, take revenge for me. Plin pinned his hopes on Tianjin Fan. Well, I will definitely not lose to him. Tianjin Fan nodded heavily with a serious expression. Picker, I will never lose to you this time. Tianjin Fan thought to himself. Come on, Tianjin Rice. Tang En shouted. Piccolo is very strong. Tianjin Fan must know it. There is no need for me to say anything. I just need to support him. Come on. Brush! The two of them came on stage one after another! The first match of the top 4 of the world's Martial Arts Association begins now. The brown-haired referee waved his hand down and announced the start of the game! Wukong, can Tianjin Fan defeat his opponent? Kiki asked. The Tianjin Fan is a friend, and the other person who does not stand with everyone must be an enemy. I can't say for sure. Both of them are hiding their strength. Sun Wukong stared at the two people on the field excitedly. Young Piccolo opened his closed eyes and looked at Tianjin Fan coldly. I recognize you. You are also responsible for killing my father. His tone was very calm, making it difficult to figure out what he meant. Let the horses come. Tianjin takes half a step back after eating and always remains prepared. Then do as you wish. To die. As soon as he finished speaking, Piccolo's eyes lit up! Then he rushed out suddenly and punched Tianjin Fan hard on the right side of his face! Lightning strikes! Boom! Perfect Tianjin meal! Chinese letter Tianjin Rice flew away quickly. Was it going to be such a defeat? Piccolo's mouth showed disdain. Tianjin Rice. Dumpling said in horror. So fast. Plin said in shock. Maslow and Rem stared in disbelief. Tianjin Rice received such a severe blow. Something serious is wrong! Okay? After moving for a moment and hitting Tianjin Fan's wrist, Piccolo slowed down, twisted his neck, and his expression became grim cut. Tianjin Fan's breathing was not disordered at all. Are you kidding me? Said Piccolo. Tianjin Fan stood up slowly, wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and said: Is it just this level? In this case, you are clearly teasing me. Show your strength to defeat Krillin. Tang En noticed that Tianjin Fan's breath was stable. Sure enough, his strength should not be underestimated. How did he practice? He made a lot of progress. Oh, it seems that you are much smarter than that little dwarf. Piccolo raised the corners of his mouth and said with a half-smile, Pico, use all your strength. Don't you always think that such slow attacks are just playing tricks? Tianjin Fan stared at Piccolo calmly and said, Oh. Piccolo put down his hands on his chest and said to Tianjin Fan: Really? Even if you want to die, you have to find a good partner. I'm not as merciful as that idiot Tang En. Immediately afterwards, Piccolo roared and began to gather energy! Aha! Laugh! Centered on the field, another storm was set off. This is so terrifying! Klin was trembling, and then looked at Sun Wukong. At this moment, Sun Wukong tightened his belt and looked very interested. This aura has surpassed that of Wukong. Klin lowered his head and clenched his fists secretly. I can only hope that Tang En can be stronger than him, otherwise I really can't imagine what will happen next. The influence of Demon King Piccolo is still very worrying. Hateful. Tianjin Fan clenched his fists and let out a long breath exclamation aha. Then, the breath soared exclamation Tianjin rice is so strong. Rem exclaimed. I really don't know what happened to Tianjin Fan, Maslow muttered. Eh? How do you know the strength of your opponent? Kiki whispered. She was very curious, but no one noticed at the moment. Oh, your aura is no better than mine. Piccolo smiled charmingly. Tianjin rice noodles do not change color : you can't fight, just look at the breath. Pumba the rapid speed was like a sonic boom, and the fast Tianjin Fan punched Piccolo in the lower abdomen. Piccolo's anger continued to rise. Then, Piccolo clenched his hands and hammered down Tianjin Fan's body. Tianjin Fan turned around and locked Piccolo from behind. Piccolo missed with one blow, and then before Tianjin Fan could exert any force, he instantly raised his elbow and struck Tianjin Fan from behind exclamation Tianjin Fans chose to retreat and avoid the edge for the time being exclamation brush exclamation Tianjin Fan took half a step back and then disappeared from the crowd. Boring trick. Piccolo felt a slight discomfort on his face, and then clenched his fists. Here! Brush exclamation is after image. Piccolo had expected it a long time ago, and he was not curious at the moment. At this time, Piccolo's backhand was to shoot a burst of air bombs in the direction behind him exclamation boom exclamation not here. Brush exclamation Tianjin rice unexpectedly appeared from the sky above Piccolo. Aha! A Qigong ball hit Piccolo's head boom exclamation Tang En couldn't help but nod as he watched. Compared to Tianjin Fan, Piccolo was still a little immature. He was actually fooled. Bang! Tianjin Fan landed on the ground with a backflip. The smoke dissipated. Piccolo wiped the blood from the scratch on his face blankly. He was expressionless. Of course, Tianjin Fan will definitely not give up this good opportunity and continue to attack Piccolo. Tot 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 exclamation Tianjin Fan was in front of Piccolo in an instant hateful. Piccolo noticed this situation and his eyes became sharp. Give me enough time. Bastard! Piccolo shouted loudly, and then there were bursts of collision sounds in the air. Piccolo stretched out his hands and blocked all Tianjin Fan's attacks. Snapped exclamation finally, Tianjin Fan missed a move and lost control of the round. But Tianjin Fan didn't panic and quickly retreated. This brought an extremely bad experience to Piccolo. Oh, are you going to continue to be careless? Tianjin Fan calmly mocked Piccolo's behavior of standing still and allowing the enemy to attack. So strong. Flynn couldn't help but praise. Great, I actually have the upper hand. Maslow said happily. Call tilde a gust of wind blows. Piccolo stood calmly. Slowly, Piccolo spit out a sentence. How, really? Then you can come over and give it a try. After a pause, Piccolo continued. You can never touch me again with the same move. Exclamation Tianjin Fan was stunned, as if he had realized something. Correspondingly, for a moment, Tang En was shocked, as if he had figured out something. Is Piccolo training himself a little stronger than your opponent every time? This is for It turns out that what Piccolo lacks the most is competition experience exclamation After all, there is a big gap between Piccolo and those Namekians on Namek. When Piccolo was stronger, Naru was the only one left to fight him, and at this time Naru was still much stronger than Piccolo. And these Earthlings just happened to be not as strong as him, but they were terrifying with rich combat experience. Great. After thinking about this, Tang En nodded seriously. This Piccolo is always sober. It was terrifying to think about it. Tang En glanced at Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong looked calm all the time. Wukong has already seen it. Tang En believed that his guess was correct. This was his intuition. For a moment, Tang En shed a trace of sweat in his heart. I'm so lax. There should be no one stronger than me here. But why am I so confused? Tang En reflected carefully and felt that he had been too relaxed recently, and then quickly straightened his expression. What's wrong with you, Dun? Bulma looked at Tang En and asked doubtfully. It's okay, I just thought of some unhappy things. I always thought I was sane and even thought I was smarter than everyone else in the world. Careless. Seeing the big from the small, Tang En suddenly realized something. Don't go on like it doesn't matter. Tang En looked at the calm Sun Wukong, Tianjin Fan, and Piccolo on the field. At this moment, he felt that if he didn't work hard, he would really be surpassed! Although Tang En had been prepared for it, how many people would be able to really calm down when this day came? Tianjin Fan exhaled again. Is that so? Tianjin Fan clenched his fists, feeling very complicated inside. Didn't he use his full strength? This is really sad. In that case, I will use my last move to kill you in one go. Tianjin Fan decided to use all his strength and no longer give Piccolo time to breathe. Come over here, it's best if you can kill me. Piccolo licked his lips. End of this chapter. PS. Current surface strength: Tianjin Rice, 5100, Bic, 6000. I've been very busy today, but luckily I have saved my manuscript. End of this chapter. Chapter 79, the final is coming. Chapter 79, the final is coming. Is Tianjin Fan finally going to use all his strength? Could it be Qigong Cannon? Plin asked. After all, the Qigong Cannon left a deep impression on Krillin in the last martial arts tournament. Probably not. Tang En thought. That move is indeed very powerful. If it can really hit Piccolo, it might really beat him to pieces. But the Qigong Cannon is still too slow, both in terms of Kai gathering and firing speed. It should be the four-body fist, Tang En thought. However, if this trick is used, Tianjin Fan will not be far from losing. I didn't expect these two people to be so powerful. They have only used their full strength now. Maslow praised. It seemed that he had not lost unfairly. Tianjin Fan let out a breath. I have to thank you for this move, Tang En Tianjin Fan said in his heart. During this period of time, Tianjin Fan not only worked hard to improve his strength, but also developed two unique skills. One is the four-body fist, and the other is the move that I am going to use now. Both of these are his unique skills, but the four-body fist has huge flaws. Tianjin Fan didn't want to gamble, let alone this time he had a choice. Drink. Tianjin Fan's whole body was condensed with waves of aura, which gradually spread throughout his body. Huh? Tang En cheered up. What kind of trick is this? Tang En was very curious. He had never seen Tianjin Fan use such a move. Immediately afterwards, Tianjin Fan's strength increased again, surprising everyone. It's unexpected, Tang En thought as he stared at the Tianjin rice. Can you become stronger? Plin exclaimed. It has reached the level of 6,500, Tang En thought to himself. Tianjin Fan, you are really a martial arts genius. Without having to think about it, Tang En knew that this was a new move that Tianjin Fan had figured out on his own based on the Tianjin fist he had told him. Tianjin rice actually condensed a breath of his own and stored it in his body in a special way. When needed, Tianjin Fan will call it out, integrate his own aura and compress it, so he can get another short-term burst! But this will definitely cause some harm to the body. The effects of some Kaioken's are different, but the principles are not the same, and the effects are also quite different. But it's already amazing, Tianjin rice. He really has a strong talent in martial arts. This is all my strength. If I lose, I will be convinced. With a bang, Tianjin rice exploded and rushed towards Piccolo. Clap clap! The two flew into the sky and had another fierce fight. To reach this level, I admit, I really underestimated you. Tianjin rice, Piccolo said with certainty. Tang En had deep thoughts about Tianjin Fan's moves, and Tang En carefully studied whether he could apply them to his own body. The result is negative for the time being. Tang En doesn't know how Tianjin rice reserves its aura. Sure enough, some moves only belong to their inventor. Maybe if Tang En asks Tianjin Fan for advice, he can get Tianjin Fan's martial arts tips. But Tang En didn't have this idea. By the time Tang En came to his senses, Tianjin Fan had already lost. Well, I had expected it, but even though I lost, I have no regrets. Tang En and others cheered for Tianjin Fan, and Tianjin Fan was indeed not affected. Indomitable, the true nature of a man! I declare that Piccolo is the winner. Tianjin Fan, you have really made great progress. Sun Wukong encouraged Tianjin Fan, who was already a little exhausted. Tianjin Fan barely calmed down his rhythm, smiled and nodded. I hope you can defeat him on my behalf. To be honest, I'm not sure at all, Sun Wukong said calmly. That guy is so strong. You can definitely do it, Tianjin Fan encouraged. Next, do you want to fight Goku? Rem smiled bitterly. He, the semi-finalist, is quite hydrated. Abstain. Let's forget it. Rem has consulted Sun Wukong privately, so the chance of winning is 0. Senior brother Rem? This is not like you. Maslow deliberately squeezed into. Boom! Jijiji. It hurts. I'm just self-aware. If you're acting weird, don't blame me for hitting you. Rem warned. Damn it. You've obviously already beaten me. Thank you, Rem. Sun Wukong waved his hand. Several people are already very familiar with each other. If it were a game like usual, Rem would naturally not surrender. But under such circumstances, Rem still hopes that Sun Wukong can maintain better physical strength and trump cards. After watching the battle between Piccolo and Tianjin Fan, everyone paid more attention to Sun Wukong's match. Next, the host began to announce Rem's abstention and then took another half-hour break. At this moment, above the temple in the distance, the gods are looking at the format of the next competition. Pico, what kind of training have you received on Namek? The god leaned on his crutch and said slowly. As early as when Tang En sent Piccolo to Namek, Tang En had already told the gods about Namek. Same as the original book, although the gods are very touched, they did not ask to leave the earth and return to Namek. Mr. Bobo, take me back. The god turned around and said, God, don't you want to watch the battle between Piccolo and Goku again? Bobo asked. No need, both of them are far ahead of me, I can't see anything. The god slowly returned to the temple. Bobo followed behind the god. Bobo feels that the other half of the god has also changed. A smile appeared on Tianjin's old face. Mr. Bobo, I can't hide anything from you. Yes, no matter how evil a person is, they will become gentle once they are bound by family. Piccolo will never become the Demon King again. The god entered the temple. However, at this moment the god thought of another thing. After this game, if Goku continues to become stronger, send him to that place. Bobo and himself can no longer teach them anything. I hope Lord Kai will find a solution. At this time in the lower realm, the finals have officially begun! You are indeed very strong, Piccolo. Sun Wukong continued. I can't wait to compete with you. Piccolo's face was expressionless, with a droopy zombie face. Oh, this is what I want to say, and Piccolo paused. If you were as weak as that person just now, I would be very angry. After saying that, Bic glanced at Tang En. Tianjin Fan is not weak, he is very strong. Sun Wukong spoke for Tianjin Fan. Only a weak person would think that. Off-site, Tang En put his arms behind his head and stared at the movement on the field seriously. Sun Wukong's current strength is only 5,000. If nothing else, he should have hidden strength. However, there are definitely still disadvantages. I don't remember that Sun Wukong was practicing Kaio Fist at this time. Drink. Piccolo actually took the lead in attacking. Bring it on. Sun Wukong blocked with both hands. Boom! Wukong flew backwards suddenly, almost flying out of the ring. Sun Wukong put his right foot on the ground and stabilized his body neatly. Grip and bounce. Sun Wukong fell from the air to the other side of the ring. When two people fight, usually no one will use all their strength directly, at least to test it out. At this moment, Piccolo charged, appeared directly in front of Sun Wukong, and struck Sun Wukong with a piercing attack. Sun Wukong dodges quickly and is overwhelmed. "I am here." Piccolo knocked Sun Wukong away with an upper kick and threw him into the sky. "Move at high speed!" Piccolo appears in the sky above Sun Wukong. "Go to hell!" Piccolo combined his hands and clasped his fingers together to blast Sun Wukong down. Magic cannon! Piccolo fired a burst of qigong from the palm of his hand and followed Sun Wukong straight down. Snapped. Wukong fell to the ground and fell into the ring. Boom! With a bang of thunder. The surface of the arena was blown away! The way he appears looks very much like Sun Wukong himself. Are there any gays who have watched Digimon when they were kids? I have been listening to butterfly music on Bilibili in the past 2 days and it is so exciting. The anime when I was a kid was so inspiring. Now that I have watched it, I am moved. In order to learn this song, I even went out of my way to learn this song. I found the romanization notation. The last time I studied Japanese songs so seriously was when I watched Ghoul. End of this chapter. Chapter 80 Sun Wukong is at full strength. Chapter 80 Sun Wukong is at full strength. Ah! Wukong! Kiki shouted worriedly. The arena is filled with smoke. Piccolo landed slowly, sensing Sun Wukong's aura. Not down there, still hiding it. Piccolo didn't think that it would be enough to kill Sun Wukong. In the large pit filled with smoke and dust, Sun Wukong looked up to the sky. "Ah, this really won't work. Okay, let's untie these things first." A call! Sun Wukong let out a sigh of relief. "Okay, I want to release my true strength." Aha! Sun Wukong began to explode. Piccolo frowned. Why didn't he come out yet? Do you want to hide your aura and look for opportunities to sneak attack? Small tricks. Just when Piccolo was about to continue exploring other places, violent vibrations occurred in the pit below. "Drink!" a low voice shouted. Then, Sun Wukong's aura expanded violently. 50,006,575,008,000. Sun Wukong released all his power in almost 3 seconds! What a terrifying anger! Rem exclaimed. "Is this Wukong?" Maslow couldn't believe it. This monkey should not be underestimated. Even if he is a teammate, he can always give you a hand. Tang En complained secretly. "I'm sorry, God said I'm strong enough, but I found that I'm still far behind." The smoke dissipated. Sun Wukong walked out slowly, but the clothes underneath had been taken off. "Krillin!" Sun Wukong shouted, and then threw the clothes and shoes he took off to Klin. "Ah, oh, you kid, you actually didn't forget to change your clothes during the fight." It's really Klin was very helpless and took 2 steps forward to prepare for his clothes to be thrown towards him. Then, Klin, who didn't check for a moment, was jolted and almost fell down. "What?" Klin was shocked! "What's wrong, Clint?" Maslow was about to pick up Goku's shoes and said to Krillin, "What? It's so heavy. Has Goku always been wearing something like this?" At this moment, the disheveled Monkey King's face was full of excitement from meeting his opponent. "Sorry to keep you waiting." Piccolo calmed down and said slowly, "Oh, you will soon understand that lying there is the best choice." "I'm going to attack," Sun Wukong said. Piccolo slowly flew into the air and did not answer. "Okay." Sun Wukong was full of energy. Sun Wukong suddenly stepped on the ground and shot out into the sky. Then the sound of the two fighting each other kept ringing in the sky. Bang boom! Boom! Crackling. Disappeared. Only the sound can be heard. It's so scary. Flynn clenched his fists and kept looking for the two of them. There was a trace of sweat on Rem's head, and the momentum of the two men taking turns to attack was really oppressive. Tianjin fans' 3 eyes changed directions very quickly, looking for signs of the fight between the two people. It's so fast. It's too fast. Even I can only see a trace of it. Tianjin fan turned his head and looked at Tang En's rolling eyes with adoration. Perhaps, only he could clearly see the movements of the two people here. Tang En stared at the fight between the two people. There was nothing flashy about the two's attacks, they were just fist-to-flesh collisions every time. If you punch me, I'll kick you back. Leg kicks, elbows, clashing with each other, the sound echoes through the sky. Exclamation move from here to there, explode in front of you from a distance. Sure enough, the underground arena was still too small. The reporters and referees on the side were even more confused, and they were shooting wildly at the sky. We can only hope for slow playback in the later stages. 2 minutes later, the battle between the two became fiercer. Piccolo began to explode with all his strength, and for a moment he suppressed Sun Wukong and beat him! Exclamation boom! Exclamation. There was a loud noise and two figures appeared. A man fell rapidly from the clouds. It's Goku. He got hit. Tang En clearly saw Sun Wukong being punched 5 or 6 times by Piccolo in an instant, and then kicked Sun Wukong down! Exclamation. Sun Wukong struggled in the air to regain his strength, suddenly stabilized his body, and stayed in the air. Piccolo followed up like an ant attached to its bones, ready to strike Sun Wukong again. Death! Piccolo gave a violent blow! Exclamation brush! Exclamation. Another afterimage. Piccolo was obviously stunned for a moment, then subconsciously looked at his back. Turtle School Qigong Wave. A voice sounded from behind Piccolo. Piccolo was startled and turned around to dodge. Puff! Piccolo's cheek was scratched. Aha! Sun Wukong attacks from top to bottom. So far, Piccolo was finally suppressed by Monkey King once! Exclamation. Piccolo went on the defensive. Go with. Piccolo endured a sharp punch from Monkey King, and spit out his saliva. Piccolo took this opportunity to exchange injuries for injuries and swiped his leg at Sun Wukong, causing Sun Wukong's attack to stall. Boom! Exclamation. Sun Wukong was stunned for a moment after being kicked. With this, Piccolo finally took control of the initiative in his own hands. The two of them fought from the sky to the ring, creating a gust of wind. PFFD. Piccolo's knee directly touched Sun Wukong's chest. This blow made Sun Wukong a little dizzy and his breathing was a little messed up. Piccolo is also a genius in combat. When he sees that his attack is effective, he must maximize his advantage. So the two of them fought from the ground to high in the air, endlessly. What a difficult thing to deal with. Piccolo started to get a little angry. This guy's body was too thick. I have attacked him dozens of times, but the opponent is still able to keep up with my movements. Hey, Sun Wukong wiped the blood flowing from the corner of his mouth. I will definitely win you. Piccolo is a little annoyed with Sun Wukong's confidence. What a simple-minded guy. If that's the case, then I'll show you the true strength of Piccolo. When Sun Wukong saw Piccolo exploding again, his body trembled involuntarily. Piccolo's body expanded considerably, his blood vessels began to become ferocious, and his aura reached its peak. Combat power 11,000. Is it gigantic? Dun thought for a moment. No, with Neru's knowledge, he would not fail to tell Piccolo the disadvantages of becoming gigantic. After Piccolo finished charging up, Tang En finally recognized Piccolo's move. It is indeed gigantic, but it is an improved version of gigantism. The whole body only expands once, and the corresponding strength and speed will increase. This move was used by Piccolo when he fought against Carrick Roman II in the original book. After gathering his energy, Piccolo was confident and immediately turned his attention to Sun Wukong. Oh, you are. Are you scared? Piccolo smiled. Sun Wukong felt Piccolo's breath expanding again, and pursed his lips. Maybe, but I can't help but continue to fight you. When Sun Wukong spoke, the corners of his mouth were raised, accompanied by a slight tremor. Tang En didn't know what Sun Wukong was talking about, but at this moment he thought of Vegeta's words about becoming a Super Saiyan. At that moment, I was shaking with excitement. This should be the explosion of the dithering attribute. Humph. Piccolo was ready to finish this guy off quickly. Sun Wukong felt a little numb all over his body and couldn't help but roar. Wow. Sun Wukong feels much more comfortable all over! The white aura wrapped around Sun Wukong's body, and he met the oncoming Piccolo! Boom! The aura emanating from the two of them made people feel unclear. Tang En was also secretly assessing which of the two had the advantage. It's so hard. Piccolo still has the advantage, but his aura has improved crazily in 2 years. His power control is always not stable enough, and his aura leaks are more serious. As a Saiyan, Sun Wukong always gets braver as he fights. For this kind of person, if the opponent is not too much stronger than him, and if the opponent wants to defeat this Saiyan, he must have the consciousness to fight for his life! A truly outstanding Saiyan can stand up tremblingly as long as he has one breath left. If he goes down, that can only mean 2 things. Either the enemy is invincible or you are dead. Pain will be regarded as pleasure by this crazy race in battle, and they will even be addicted to it. Especially the legendary Super Saiyan. What a born warrior! PS. Tips for anti-bar. These characteristics are limited to Saiyans with excellent qualities, such as Laddies, which is called a wimp of superior fighters by the race, is not included. Looking forward to the increase in collection this week. End of this chapter. Alright legends, that's it for today. If you're ready for the next chapter, smash that like button and flood the comments right now. Remember, we've got 3 days to prove this story needs to continue. Subscribe so you don't miss the drop, and I'll meet you in the next audiobook.